Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world and whenever you are tuning into this video. My name is James Porcelli,
I'm Brian Thomas.
and welcome to another very special edition of the Ruthless Talk Podcast. Thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
The next big event that we have, ladies and gentlemen, it is WrestleMania. WrestleMania, ladies and gentlemen, is a week away. 1 week from today will be WrestleMania Night 1. And then, of course, the following day, April 20th, it'll be WrestleMania Night 2. And speaking of WrestleMania, we will have a WrestleMania review. Of course, there's a freaking holiday. Of course, there has to be a freaking holiday when freaking WrestleMania comes around. But we will be having a WrestleMania review show, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. There's going to be a whole lot to talk about since it is a big two-night event. And, of course, we got a bunch of other episodes coming your way. When we got WWE Backlash, we got another Saturday night's main event to talk about in the near future. We got AEW stuff to talk about. AEW Double or Nothing is coming up in May, which we will find some time to talk about as well. So a bunch of stuff to talk about in the next several months. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all of that to come. So before we get started, we have to invite our lovely special guests to this show. Ladies and gentlemen, let us introduce our first guest. He is a tried and true to the Ruthless Talk podcast. He has been here, let's say, in reference to the Usos, day one-ish. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back. It's been a minute, but he is back. Ladies and gentlemen, my man, Top Bunk Sports.
What's going
It's
on?
David. David, what's up, my brother?
Appreciate it. Love being here, man. You guys are great. It feels good to be here, man.
Appreciate
it's
that,
great
man.
to have
Welcome.
you back on, man. You know, hey, listen, if you are a freaking basketball fan, baseball fan, shoot, and a wrestling fan, dude, hey, listen, Top Bunk is your guy, man. He's been putting in work with content, man. So make sure you guys check out David from Top Bunk Sports.
Absolutely.
Make sure you check out his content. Does a really good job, man. He's been on his grind as of late. So make sure you guys show him some love and definitely check out his stuff. So, and now on to our next guest, ladies and gentlemen. He's another tried and true to our platform, and he is back. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage. He is known as Scotty Wrestling. Scotty, what is up, bro?
Welcome.
Hey, man. Happy to be welcome back, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's good to have you on, my man. And last but most certainly not least, he is making his debut to the Ruthless Talk studio. He is, of course, another content creator on Instagram as well as on TikTok. He is known as Light Skin Gaijin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage my man, Dennard. I think I botched that.
Welcome.
How was
You had
up,
it
my
right
man?
the first time.
I had it right the first
You had it
time.
right the
Okay,
first time.
perfect. How's it going, man? How are you, bro?
First off, I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me on.
Of
Always
course.
a pleasure to be going to new platforms, especially, just going out there, get my name out there. And not only that, but just to sit here and talk wrestling with those individuals who just love professional wrestling.
Very well
For
said,
sure, my man, for
Very well
sure.
said. Thank you, guys. And thank all of you guys once again for being here. And of course, like I said, for everybody listening or watching this on YouTube, make sure you guys go check out all of their content. Again, all their social medias will be down in the description box down below for you guys to check all of them out and all of their content. So without further ado, man, let's jump into this episode. There's a lot to talk about. There's pretty much 2 nights of WrestleMania to talk about. But before we get into that, man, Brian, you brought up a really good idea from our Royal Rumble roundtable, and that's the fact that we discussed our favorite Royal Rumble moments, our favorite Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So why not do it for WrestleMania? So, Brian, I'll start off with you, man, and we'll go around the table, man. Any favorite WrestleMania pay-per-views in your recent memory as a fan? Any favorite WrestleMania moments, matches? What's your answer, man? The floor is yours.
Oh, I definitely got a lot of them, man. But coming from the Attitude Era, I'm going back there. I mean, if I'm going, I think the best WrestleMania match for me all time, WrestleMania 13, Bret Hart and Stone Cold. Bret Hart, as great as we all know he is, there's still somehow, some way, I feel he's underrated, underappreciated within wrestling. I don't know how that happens, but and it's a match that really catapulted Stone Cold into becoming Stone Cold, 316, all that. I mean, just a storytelling. I mean, the match itself, the two competitors in there, it really doesn't get much better than that. So I'll say that's my favorite match. My favorite moment is the following year, 14, where Stone Cold does win the title, his first title, obviously beating Shawn Michaels, and Tyson's the guest referee. That was my favorite moment. Stone Cold being my favorite wrestler all time, that being his first championship. Um, and I would say even again in the attitude area, if I'm just going to go best overall WrestleMania, it's really hard for me to go against 17. I mean, that's, a lot of people say 17. I mean, that's right in my era, my wheelhouse. So it's really hard for me to go against that. So those are my three, I guess, in adulthood fandom, those are my three big moments. I could go back, of course, to WrestleMania 1 or 3. Hogan slamming Andre obviously is just iconic. But yeah, I'll stick with those three.
I like it, man. I like it. Denard, I'm going to send this off to you, man. Any favorite WrestleMania moments, some matches that you have witnessed in your wrestling fandom, man? The floor is yours, dude. Take it away.
Well, I guess this is the part where I show my age, but without a doubt, I always regard WrestleMania X7 as the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Without a doubt, card top to bottom, stacked, stellar, had probably far one of the greatest main events of all time. However, my favorite WrestleMania match, and if you guys follow the Heels for Life podcast, both me and Chris are going to be giving our very own personal greatest WrestleMania, top 20 WrestleMania matches. And I may be spoiling it here, but my favorite WrestleMania match of all time is probably regarded as the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. And that is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic.
So, as far as moments go, I mean, there's plenty of moments, the streak being broken.
Yeah.
The memorable entrances, Shawn coming down from like the ceiling, with his epic entrance at Mania 25. The submission match, like what Brian talked about, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold, another great match, which by the way is also high on my list too. So sorry for spoiling it for everybody. But if I had to pick one moment out of them all, it would have to be go back to Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth coming back together again, because I'm sorry, sappy things like that bring a tear to my eye.
I love it.
And that
love
was
it,
storytelling, man. You want to talk about great storytelling? God, that was really top notch, man. Yeah,
Absolutely. David, I'll send it over to you, man. Favorite WrestleMania pay-per-view match moment. Floor is yours, man.
Well, this is the part where I got to show my age. I'm more of the ruthless aggression. I was born into the ruthless aggression age era. I think for me, my favorite WrestleMania that I actually watched live was WrestleMania 23. I think from top to bottom, the build up to almost all the matches, me being a John Cena fan, growing up a John Cena fan, and him kind of facing the legend and Shawn Michaels, and even at that moment where, at that time, the rumors were that because Triple H was supposed to be facing him, and obviously Triple H had tore his quad at New Year's Revolution, and then they were saying Michaels was supposed to go over, and then Cena went over. But just that card from top to bottom, that was a stacked card. Almost every match was top notch. I think one of the greatest moments for me in terms of WrestleMania has to be the matchup between Triple H and Undertaker at WrestleMania 28. That match from top to bottom, you talk about storyline, you talk about them actually at the end where they carry Triple H to the stage and they all turn around at the crowd and they give one hug. I think the icing on the cake was involving Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H literally went in there to kind of finish the job that his best friend couldn't finish, and for it to not only play out the way it did, from kickouts to spots where Triple H hurts Undertaker hurts the Undertaker, then he comes back, he super kicks the Undertaker into a pedigree like that. Moments like that, you can't even you can't describe those. Those are moments that I'm thinking Triple H and Shawn Michaels talk about, where it's like we don't even practice that. I wouldn't be shocked if that's a moment that just happened, that you don't even practice, you don't even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so organic, and it is true when people say those were the last two of our kind. Like for you guys that were born in the 90s and that were able to see, or that witnessed wrestling in the 90s and were able to see Triple H and Undertaker in their primes, like to see that one final time in the new era before, you know, they switched over to the new guys, like that to me was something that I'll never forget. I felt like that when Cena and The Rock, you know, I didn't like the outcome as a Cena fan, but two generations colliding like that. I never thought The Rock and Cena ever fight in the ring.
Right.
With all the social media back and forth, I never thought that they would make that possible. So, you know, that matchup and WrestleMania 23 have to be my favorite of all time.
I like it, man. I like it. Scotty, what about you, bro? Favorite WrestleMania pay-per-view match, moment? Floor is yours, dude.
So this is where I show my wrestling inexperience. Like I've said it repeatedly on my page. I've only been watching wrestling full time for like 3 years, and prior to that, I was only a casual fan. I never watched a pay-per-view until 2020, so I really don't have any like older WrestleMania moments. So within the past 3 years of watching, I'd have to say my favorite match was WrestleMania 40. It was Cody versus Roman. Not that it was an amazing, show of grappling and, mat work and anything. I just like that Cody and Roman were wrestling like they actually hated each other. I felt like their body movements and everything, like they were in there to kill each other. So I appreciated that from them. And if I would say my favorite actual match, or I should say favorite moment, was when KO and Sammy beat the Usos for the World Tag Team titles. Um, it was just very emotional. Like that was great storytelling to me, and like that actually did almost bring me to tears because I was like, "Holy crap!" Like they actually did it. So yeah, those are my two.
Very nice. Yeah. Now, when the
Well, if you
bloodline
haven't checked
story,
out any old ones, man, definitely check out Steamboat and Savage, man. Definitely go
Yeah,
watch
no,
that
this
match.
it's on my list.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I was gonna say
I've been
you
writing down a whole bunch of.
mentioning the Usos and Sami Zayn and KO when the bloodline story was at its peak. Honestly, when it was pretty much carrying WWE on its back. So yeah, I mean, before we get into this card, man, I guess for me, I guess I can share my experience in my age now. I guess so. But I mean, I'm surprised nobody has mentioned this matchup yet, as far as like a WrestleMania match. Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25. I mean, if you want to talk WrestleMania matches, probably in the past, at least 2 decades now. I mean, that's got to be at least up there, at least for one of the greatest WrestleMania matches that I've ever seen of all time was Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. And even their second one may not be as better as their first one, but dude, they still crushed it and knocked it out of the park. And of course, that was Shawn Michaels' retirement match. And of course, moments. You got Seth Rollins and his Money in the Bank cash in, the heist of the century from WrestleMania 31. Even though it was pretty much of a cluster, but the whole matchup with frickin' Sting and Triple H at WrestleMania 31, when you had, so many moments,
that
man,
could have
and
been so
everything.
much better, but
Yeah, even like storylines that I'd even remember, like, with, again, he's a horrible booker, but frickin' Triple H, man, when he was a performer, feuding with Randy Orton at the time, and him breaking into Randy Orton's home and building up to that matchup, again, wasn't the most memorable matchup that we'll go back and watch, but the build up to that match, at least for me, someone like you, David, that grew up in the Ruthless Aggression era, it piqued interest a lot of times, and it was very, again, just the rivalry, of course, it's an historic rivalry, and everything, of course, and just so many other more stuff. I know Dinar mentioned, of course, like the streak being ended. Never thought that would ever happen ever. I mean, it's still I still like look back and I'm like, wow, they really actually did that for Brock Lesnar, out of all people, too, which is, again, someone believable. But, of course, the argument was like, oh, maybe it could have been someone else that could have really used that freaking moment instead of Brock Lesnar, who was already made. But still, the shock and awe of people, right? I still get a kick out of the freaking meme with the dude in the stands with the glasses. The dude's like, what the hell just happened? Like, so it's just, it's
I mean,
moments like,
that was half of that actually that was like 75% of us, man. Like just
right.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So like, yeah, just and many more other matches, man, that I could go on for hours and talk about, man. So, but like I said, WrestleMania, at least for the night itself, has always been very, very special. As
Yeah.
far as this build, we won't go into that. We won't go into that. We got a match card to talk about, but I'm sure for people watching this, you guys know how me and Brian feel. I'm sure other people feel, but so anyway, let's get into this match card, fellas. There's a lot of matches to discuss and to talk about. So first things first, man. This is not necessarily a match, but I feel like it's only fitting to talk about it, and that's Randy Orton. Fortunately, of course, because of Kevin Owens and his recent neck injury, we don't know when Kevin Owens is going to be coming back. Of course, much love and salute to Kevin Owens, which sucks because he has been putting on tremendous work with this heel character that he has been on for the past almost well over a year, maybe several months now, well from 2024 into 2025. But he was supposed to wrestle Randy Orton. That's not happening now. So now the question is, he's going to be a part of Mania, but what is he doing? Is it going to be a match? Is it going to be for a certain moment in the matchup to where maybe he just RKO's the crap out of somebody? Is it going to be like an open challenge? And before I get to you guys, man, and Brian, I guess I'll start off with you, but I guess for me in regards to this situation, right, it's the last thing I want for this person to be, if it is going to be a match, it can't be somebody like a Solo Sikoa or somebody just on the main roster just to give him a spot, right? Because like, what is that really doing for that person that's going to be thrusted into this so-called matchup with Orton, right? I mean, choices to where you have Nick Aldis. I think Nick Aldis honestly is the best case scenario, right? To where you have a general manager, a suit and tie going up against Randy Orton. You started the animosity just last night, taught in the face-to-face altercation to start off the show, SmackDown. Freaking Randy Orton brought up Mickie James, which is Nick Aldis's wife in freaking real life. So you might as well just kind of go into that right now. The other option is a re-debuting of somebody like Malachi Black, aka Aleister Black. I mean, they're doing all the vignettes already and the teases with the smoke and mirrors. We think it's going to most likely be Malachi Black or Aleister, probably going back as Aleister Black when he was known back in WWE. But if it was me, if I have the booking pen, it's Nick Aldis. I think it's a great way for you to call an audible. I think it's no harm, no foul. If Nick Aldis does want to get back into the ring, and it could be fun, it could be really, really cool to do a kind of like a suit and tie going up against a wrestler like a Randy Orton per se. Again, it would be way more fun and make way more sense than just throwing another random talent out there just for the sake of it, just to put him on the card. You know what I'm saying? But Brian, what are your takes, man, about Randy Orton? Who should he face? What should they do? What are your takes, man, about that?
First, I gotta say, man, it just sucks about KO's injury because I had mentioned it
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. With as far as this build and what I'm looking for to Mania, it was that match. Like I really thought it could steal the show, but that's really unfortunate. So for Orton, personally, no match. I don't think you should have a match because obviously KO is going to be out a long, long time. So, I mean, they're not going to be resuming that anytime soon. So, I mean, you got to do something completely new with Orton. I mean, I would still say he's got to play a part in Mania for sure. Yeah, I would just have him, and I don't know where off the top of my head, but come out there and RKO somebody. But it's got to, I think at this point, it's got to be somebody big. Where I mean, I don't know if that's in the Jey Gunther match, Roman Rollins and Punk, Cody Cena. I don't think that match. I don't think anything there. But yeah, if you are going to do a match, yeah, it would have to be with something like you said, just with Nick Aldis. If it's going to be some like one-off, just we have to throw something together. So here it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, personally, I'd say just have him come out there, at some big point in the show and arcade the shit out of somebody, and then start a feud going forward after that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Scotty, what about you, man?
Honestly, like the Nick Aldis idea, I really don't see how else they can throw
Right.
something together that's really going to mean much. Like Randy's not the type of person you can just throw in a random match with some, no name or someone lower on the card that it like mean anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you guys.
Nice. Yeah.
Bueno.
Denard, what about you, man? Anything for Randy Orton? He should be on the card. Should he be off the card? What do you think, man?
I like the idea of the Aleister Black pitch because, yeah, like they said, they've been putting together these vignettes, with the plan to basically have him re-debut after Mania, which, to be perfectly honest, with all the people that WWE has been signing, whether it be from AEW or other promotions, a lot of these guys should have been debuting after WrestleMania to begin with.
Yep.
But my personal thoughts aside, it should be Nick Aldis. They have a story pretty much going from when Randy came back the first time from his back
Yeah.
injury, and he pretty much RKO'd Nick Aldis the first time and gave him a $50,000 fine and then wrote him a check for $100,000. He said, well, what's the other $50,000 for? Oh, that's when I do it again. And he let him know he was going to do it again. And sure enough, that's what happened. He got him again. So now he's all paid up on his fines. Nick Aldis now needs to get his get back. So as far as I'm concerned, I would love to see Nick Aldis wrestling one more time. Whether it's a one-off or whether this is his
Yeah.
debut into a full-time, in-ring competitor. Hey, what better way to get him out of the suit and back into those tights and boots?
I agree,
Yeah, for
man.
sure.
Absolutely. David, what about you, man? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. No, I think you guys hit it on the nail. With everything going on within these segments between Nick Aldis and Randy Orton, what better way than just to put Aldis out there? And then it gives an opportunity for Aldis not only to show what we've been missing in terms of him being a wrestler, but his moment at WrestleMania. And
Yeah.
basically
Absolutely.
getting that moment with one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Randy, from my understanding and from what I've read always within the history of his wrestling, he works well with anybody. So he can definitely make all this look great as in terms of like ring rust. I think all this is in perfect position with Randy. And again, with like Light Skin said, within all these fines and segments, it only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I know, Aleister Black, I know people kind of want to see him return, but it's like, you're basically just treating this as a Seth and Cody when Cody made his debut. Although it did work because, again, Seth is great with anybody, you just don't want to just throw him out there to be like, hey, welcome back, Aleister. It just doesn't make sense. You built something with Nick Aldis and Randy in terms of segments. Why not turn that into a match where not only you could see Randy still wrestle, but give Nick Aldis that one moment that we all thought maybe he could get when he first came to WWE.
What is the deal with all this? Is it his back? Is that what the deal is with him?
I heard about his back. I heard
his back. Yeah.
Somebody had put an article out there, or not an article. Dave Meltzer put something out there about Nick Aldis and mentioned his injury, and they said it was his knee. So there's a whole. I don't know exactly what it is specifically, but it was getting to a point where he didn't even want to deal with wrestling at some point.
Yeah.
I did just look it up. It is due to a back injury.
Right.
I just did too. Yeah.
He's been dealing with it since July.
Right.
So
Okay.
July of last year, I believe.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So anyway, great takes all around, guys. Really good takes. All right, let's get into this card itself. The first match that we have is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This will be for WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday night. So Brian, as my co-host, I'm going to have you start, man. So my first question to you, Brian, is so far for this feud, and I mean, I think we can all agree this has been at least one of, if not one of the few feuds building up to WrestleMania that has been pretty darn consistent up until this point. So Brian, in your takes, man, if you could rate this feud on a scale from 1 to 10, what would it be?
Damn. 1 to 10. Right now, 7. I'd say, probably about a 7. I mean, I loved it. What Naomi has been able to do, that now that she's been given that platform to do it. I mean, James, you and I have talked about it on our podcast since she came back. I mean, man, we've been waiting for this, and I think she's killing it. Jade coming back. I definitely see improvement from when before she left. Um, so yeah, like you said, for this build to the main for this Mania, it definitely is one of the best storylines going. Naomi's killing it,
Yeah.
and I'm really looking forward to the match for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Naomi, man. I mean, this whole like her
Yeah,
caution attire, everything, dude. Like, dude, the
all of
promo,
it,
the
man.
vignette that
The
she cut
yeah, the
last night. I
vignette.
mean,
Yep.
dude, she is
I haven't
absolutely
even seen
killing
it
it.
from last night. Yeah.
Dude, Bron, you got to watch it, man. She absolutely crushes it. She did a tremendous job, man. It's so refreshing to see her in this role and to finally just given a chance, man. Like not even again for a championship, right? It's like, oh, we want this person to get a championship and this person to get a championship. No, just give them proper booking. Just give
Yeah.
them a shot and show them, especially for Naomi, who's paid her dues now for over 10 years. She's been in this business for 15 years. This is now finally the least that they can do. So absolutely much love to Naomi. But David, the same question goes to you, man. If you had to rate so far this feud on a scale from 1 to 10, what would it be?
I'd give it an 8. I think what they've been able to do with those two, I think it's phenomenal. I think, again, like Brian said, this is what you kind of been waiting for with Jade Cargill, finally giving her momentum and what we've been waiting for in terms of her coming into WWE. But you're talking about Naomi, somebody that you're giving this heel position to, and she's been able to carry it. She's been able to get good responses out of that. I mean, in terms of, I think one of the best things that I've seen throughout this whole buildup is her wearing the caution tape. Nobody really, the caution outfit, nobody really understood that until they put two and two together. And I was like, yeah, that's smart. Like, that's great that they thought of that. And again, I think they've been able to kind of get away from Bianca, and I think just focus on just them two. And I
Mhm.
think if you're able to do that with how big Bianca is right now and that friendship being around her, and I'll kind of eliminate her and kind of get just them two and what the situation is with them two. I think again, I think it's smart, and I just hope that the match. I just hope the match goes well, because I think the booking right now for them two is spot on.
Very nice, man. Scotty, what about you, man? So actually, Scotty, I'm going to give you a different question here, man. As far as this match is concerned, right? So this is very interesting because clearly for Jade Cargill, right? I mean, obviously it's been known from the jump since she's gotten here. Like WWE is trying to protect her any way, shape, or form, which is why they put her in the tag team with Bianca, which is why they've had her, as tag champions. And Bianca, let's face it, doing the heavy lifting as far as, the in-ring work and everything. So you would
Yeah.
think that Jade Cargill is going to win this matchup. However, Naomi is doing so well, man, and it would suck that she would just lose straight up. So now if your goal is to get to Bianca, like what is Naomi doing at that point? How are you prolonging this? So what do you think, man, in regard to this matchup, man? How do you think that this match overall will play out between both of these two ladies? And what do you think is the right call to go with?
I think the right call is to have Jade lose. Honestly, like she's not gonna lose any momentum. Because she's still like present, like you said, they're protecting her. She's still presented as a massive star. Like she still get great crowd reception. But like Naomi finally getting her shine, it's like what the longtime fans have been clamoring for, and she's killing it, honestly. So like for her to have come this far, at least just being in the spotlight, and then her to lose,
Yeah,
and if that happens, she's going to get brushed aside. That wouldn't make sense. But
yeah.
truth, like that, while that is the right call, I don't trust Triple H's booking, so that's
Me
very
neither, bro.
much a possibility.
Me
So
neither,
yeah,
bro.
no, I think the right
No.
call is to have Jay lose. Yeah.
Very well said, man. Denard, what about you, man? How do you see this matchup playing out between Jade Cargill and Naomi? And what do you think the right call is?
Aside from Naomi doing her best Owen Hart cosplay from the Nation of Domination when he showed up with the caution, singlet and all that.
Yeah.
David, I think pretty much said it best when they're getting away from Bianca. But don't you dare get Bianca out of your head just yet, because I do believe it's going to circle back to Bianca the following night on night 2. So as far when it comes to Naomi and Jade, though, this is Jade's true test because, like you said, James, WWE has done a pretty good job at trying to protect her and putting her in it with a tag team like Bianca, and Bianca doing all the heavy lifting.
Right.
Jade now doesn't have that. She now has to prove that she can hang, with WWE talent. And for those people who are saying, oh, well, she was this in AEW, blah, blah, blah. If you are comparing AEW to WWE in any sort of way, they're not the same thing. They are two separate wrestling companies with two entirely different presentations. All right. Jade had to wrestle a certain way in AEW. Now she has to wrestle a certain way in WWE. She has to adapt to that WWE style. Pretty much everybody who goes over there has to adapt to that certain style.
Right.
So, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to this match, eventually I do see Jade winning. However, it'll be the aftermath, I think, that will pretty much be the moment, so to speak. And like I said, don't just put Bianca out of your head just yet.
Yeah. No, it's very, very fair to say. Yeah, I mean, I can see.
Let me pose this question to you, anybody that wants to answer, really, because we had talked about the caution tape. James and I did a couple weeks ago. So I think Jade is going to win. I mean, I guess she could win clean, but I'm looking more of like maybe a DQ win. And again, with the caution tape, do you guys feel like there's maybe some people coming for backup with Naomi, and Naomi's maybe going to lead a faction?
Well, I think what a lot of people need to remember, Bray Wyatt, I think, has done a really good job at like hiding messages within his wrestling attire, and I think Naomi's trying to do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
like she's basically telling you need to be cautious around me, not just for me, but what I am capable of. She has gained a lot of friends. She knows a lot of people. She is married, and she is married into a part of Wobbly, one of the strongest families in pro wrestling in the Anoa'i family. So just to sit up here and say that you shouldn't be cautious around somebody that has those type of connections, you better put a quarter in your ass because you played yourself. So.
I love it, man.
That's I feel you, man. Yeah.
And honestly, that's why, for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, why this is one of at least the most interesting stories that at least WWE has as of right now. I honestly would put it at probably the most interesting story out of everything right now. And that includes what John Cena and Cody Rhodes are even doing, or at least like top tier, or at least neck and neck at what they're doing. So no, great takes all around from everybody. But let's get into our next matchup, man. Our next matchup is another one-on-one match, another non-title matchup. This is Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this is like a street fight. It's like a Sin City street fight. Is that correct? If anyone can confirm that with me. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Denard. So this is a street fight because it's on site, and everything we do in this feud is just having brawls, as that's Triple H's MO, if you guys have not seen over the past several weeks, but that's neither here or there. So I will start this off with, I'll start it off with you, David. Why not? As far as this match or this feud is concerned, outside of their history, because that's what we also like to rest on, is just a lot of history. David, in your honest take, outside of their history with one another, with McIntyre and Priest, of course, you go back to the Money in the Bank cash-in, their match at Clash at the Castle, right? What is making you truly excited about this match, in all honesty? What are your takes about that?
Well, before I kind of answer that, the shots at Triple H's booking is hilarious. I just want to give you guys credit, because I'm even looking at Scotty's face, and he's kind of like,
I can't.
He just has me dying. He has me dying. It's just hilarious. But nothing about this match makes me excited. I'm gonna be honest.
Thank you for being honest.
Get it off there, because at some point, number one, I just don't know what they're doing with Drew McIntyre. And you know what? If Drew McIntyre wanted to walk out right now and say I'm done, he has every right to. I'm gonna be honest with you. Damian Priest is good. Like, Damian Priest is gonna, wherever you put Damian Priest, he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna knock it out the park. But Drew McIntyre, like, the shit with Drew is that they'll have him win this match, and then they'll just throw him in they'll move him to the side as if he's fine with it. he's cool. Like he's a veteran. Like he'll accept it. This buildup was just straight brawls. As if I'm supposed to just be like, yeah, let's just put them in brawls in almost every week just so we could build up this street fight. No, like again, it's not something, I don't know about you guys, but it's not something that I was just like, man, I can't wait for this match, because nothing within this buildup that I'm just sitting here like, yo, these two are going to kill each other. No, because what happens is you have these two in brawls and the match is ass. And I don't want that. So again, it's at some point you just got, I'm hoping again with every match that happens in this card, because the buildup for WrestleMania has been so like mid, I'm hoping that each match actually turns out better than what people think that it might be.
Yeah, so, better.
Yeah, in terms of this match, I hope that if you're gonna have a street fight, have a street fight. Use everything outside the ring. If you got to go on the stage, do what you got to do.
You're in Vegas, baby. Like, there's so much you can do.
Man. I mean, just use it, because a lot of the times, especially in the PG era, we look at these street fights and it's like, this, what the hell's the point of you? What, you're gonna suplex him on the mat and that's it? Throw him back in the ring and then you're having a regular. These street fights have never been good when it came to the PG era. So I hope that if they're gonna have a street fight, utilize the entire, just not the ring, but utilize everything else. Because what's the point of having a hardcore match or a street fight if you're not gonna use your time wisely?
I mean, there's so much crazy shit in Vegas too that shit that, for entertainment purposes, and yes, of course security will be out there, but there's going to be shit that they couldn't even predict that could possibly happen just because of the environment of Las Vegas,
Yeah, absolutely, man. Scotty, I'm going to direct that same question over to you, man. Outside of history between these two, what is making you excited about this matchup?
Nothing.
No. There you go. I love the bluntness. I love it.
Nah, and the thing, like, I love Damian Priest. I love Drew McIntyre.
Me too, man.
Nothing surrounding this has caught my interest. It's just like, because like, didn't they have a match at a pay-per-view before earlier this year?
Yeah, Clash at the Castle.
It was last year, I think. But
was the last? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and even that was just okay. It wasn't great. But I'm like, even though Drew is technically still a heel, he's never really gotten heel. Everyone still freaking loves him. And Priest, he's got like a steady following. He's not universally like that over, and he's not really given that chance. This is not going to get him, more love or attention. And this match really serves nothing. Like what's going to come of this?
Yeah.
So no, I'm not interested in this at all.
Oh, I don't blame you, bro, because this company doesn't give you a fucking reason to. So I don't blame you at all. Oh man, Denard. So my next question to you, man, is between these two, who do you think needs this victory more and why?
Before I answer that, let me ask y'all a question, because I know David brought it up. These street fights in the PG era have not been good. Does anybody even recall when the last time WWE had a hardcore match that was actually, renowned as being great?
Ooh.
Hell in a Cell.
Great.
Was that even hardcore though?
No, it's not really hard. No.
And I wouldn't even say it's.
And don't say WrestleMania 15
great.
with Boss Man either. Don't say that. Don't say that. That was such a
where he got hogged.
Yes. Don't say WrestleMania 15.
If you're talking about in terms of like Hell in a Cell, like any of those matches, ladder matches or whatever. I mean, if you're talking about now, I would have to give my flowers to Cody and Kevin at Royal Rumble in that ladder match. If you want to talk about in terms of a couple years ago, I would have to say Taker and Shane and Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 32. I mean, I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but for Shane's match to be back in a Hell in a Cell and what he did to Taker, that's the best that I could put. There's really nothing else. And I'm not even going to mention Miz and Shane at WrestleMania 35. That wasn't even something that I was intrigued on. I know people have positive reviews about that one, but they haven't. Like, that's why I said what I said. They have not. When it comes to street fights, I don't think Triple H and this new regime know what that is. I think they just put it there to be like, just buy into it. Like, no, they don't know nothing about it.
David, I'm
glad
you
brought I can really remember, and it's not for a good reason, is, and I don't know what pay-per-view it was, but The Rock and Foley, where I mean, The Rock just fucking pummeled him with like 20 chair shots unprotected. Like,
Royal
I
Rumble
don't know if that,
99.
yeah, but I mean, that was just too much. I mean, that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, by the way, I'm glad you brought up Shane McMahon and Undertaker Hell in a Cell, because now that's bringing back memories of what the hell was in the lockbox. So, but the greatest hardcore match to happen at a WrestleMania, Raven versus Kane versus Big Show, WrestleMania X7, where they nearly cut the feed because of that damn golf cart. Okay.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, like, when it comes to who needs it more, it's Drew. Drew needs it more because Drew has been looked at as the company man. I love Damian Priest, but Damian Priest is going to get every opportunity he can. Drew is the good old boy who is just basically say, okay, boss, yeah, I'm going to do it for you. Okay, boss, yeah, I'm going to do it. David, you said it best. If anybody has any reason to leave right now and say, screw this, it's Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Drew has put up with everything. And you can go back to the pandemic era where he won the Royal Rumble in 2020 and then the whole world shut down. Drew never got his WrestleMania moment in front of fans. And when he did, he had to basically drop the title in 5 minutes because of CM Punk. Okay. So, and as far as this WrestleMania Sin City Street Fight, the only thing I'm looking forward to is to see how predictable I can predict how it's going to go. They're probably going to meet somewhere in the, it's Las Vegas. I know that stadium's got a casino in it. Okay. There's going to be some Las Vegas show. There's going to be some Las Vegas showgirls. They're going to have a room
casino chips,
exactly like the Sunset Strip. They're going to be, trying to pin each other on like blackjack tables, and the roulette wheel is going to get used. Like, I'm just going to like have a list, and I don't drink much, but I think I can start. So I think I'll be like, oh, there they go on the blackjack table, shot. Use the showgirl's feather boa, shot.
Yeah, I'm honest. I'm on that same. I think I purposely told my mom to buy me a couple
just for bingo boards.
The buildup has been for this event, bro. I think I might be drunk at home. I'm not even going out. Drunk at home.
You're gonna be calling me for work, be like, hey, where are you at? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to recover from the Sin City Street Fight. I'm not going to make it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man.
Not today, boss.
I love it, man. I love it. Brian, the same questions to you, man. Who needs this match more and why between Drew and Priest?
Yeah, I mean it's got to be Drew. I mean, you go back to last year and the feuds with Punk and just the work he's done for numerous years, right? And to always in that big moment, other than like you said in that pandemic era where he finally got there and then the world shuts down, but ever since then, man, I mean, the storylines, the feuds are pretty damn good, if not great. And then he always comes up with the L. Yeah. And I mean, I have no interest in this match really at all, but I would have to say Drew's got to go over here, man. I mean, God, if he loses here, then what? I mean, where do you go? I mean, he's going to come out next week and bitch more about how he got screwed now this time against Damian Priest and what?
Yeah.
So,
man.
It's got to be Drew, but I'm not interested. I mean, it'll be fun to see what they actually use, but beyond that, not really.
Again, very good takes from all around. All right, now it's time to get the titles involved, fellas. Now, our first championship match to discuss, we have the United States Championship. This is Jacob Fatu versus your champion, L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, my first question, I'm going to send this over to you, Denard. Why not? As far as this matchup, right, to where clearly – same that we kind of talked about with Jade Cargill, right? It's clear as day that they're trying to build up Jacob Fatu as this beast, this monster, as a solo act, right? So as far as LA Knight's title reign is concerned, do you think it's evident that LA Knight is most likely going to drop this championship in this matchup? What do you think?
I would say that the smart choice is to have LA Knight drop the title to Jacob Fatu. But again, like Scotty over here says, don't trust Triple H's booking. You know, that's number one. Number two, you said that they are trying their best to build Jacob Fatu as this monster solo act. You really don't have to do much. Like, we've known about Jacob Fatu since his days in the Indies, from MLW to GCW when he was teaming with Zilla. And if you don't know who that is the son of Umaga. You know,
Yep.
so we've known just how much of a badass Jacob Fatu truly is. You know, the only thing that is going to screw this up is if you do something wacky to mess it up. And, you know, my money's on the wackiness, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, this is really really interesting, right? Because with these two men, I love these two to death. I really, truly do.
Yeah.
I really like Jacob Fatu, and I really like LA Knight. I have never understood LA Knight's booking, even with a championship. It's like, I feel like it's just an anchor. It's like every time these people get a championship, right, in this company, it's just an anchor. It's just weighing them more and more and more down. And I feel like for LA Knight, he just wins this championship, and now it's to uplift Jacob Fatu, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Jacob Fatu is awesome. But like, you can't really tear someone up or build someone up by tearing someone else down. It's just, I don't know, man. But we'll see how they do it. But I'm going to send this over to Brian, man. Brian, is it evident at this point, because of Jacob Fatu's booking, is it evident, do you think, that LA Knight is going to drop this title, this U.S. title, to Jacob Fatu?
Yeah, I'd have to say, yeah. If I'm putting money on it, he's going to take the title from him. But my whole, I don't even, this shouldn't even be a match on the card, really, these two individuals.
Yes,
At least it's not a triple threat, but it's one of those things where I think it's evident they're trying to turn, or are going to turn, Fatu face. And I think that's the wrong call. I think he should remain a heel. And so to do, whether he wins, so if he takes the title off of LA Knight, I mean, they're turning him face eventually. So I say, just why not have another, like they've been doing, some bullshit DQ finish where LA Knight still does retain the title, and you're still going to turn Fatu face with Solo and, well, at least Solo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just, I don't know. I think they're going to put it on Fatu, but if it was me, I'd just say keep it on LA Knight and have that feud with Solo and turn Fatu face that way. But even that, I think they're pulling the trigger too fast with that.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting, right? Because it's clear as day that they're slowly turning Jacob Fatu, at least his mannerisms and everything, more as a face, right? In regards to crowd reaction. I mean, the dude is getting amazing reactions from this crowd. His mannerisms with Solo is becoming more and more face. And you're putting him in there with LA Knight, which is very, very odd, which is, again, another dude who not only is your champion, but who is also one of your top faces in this company. It's just the timing of it all with putting these dudes in this matchup is just what's not clicking with a lot of people. And you add on top of that the fact that it's been less than 2 weeks from the show, and now you want to put this matchup on the card. It's lazy. It's just lazy ass booking.
At least Braun Strowman's not in it, because I thought that was for sure going to be another
I thought
threat.
Solo was going to be added into this, honestly, because of the fact that people love Jacob Fatu. It's like, who's going to boo somebody in this matchup? Nobody's booing Jacob Fatu. Nobody's booing freaking LA Knight. So why don't you put Solo in there, who's a freaking heel? So that's what I thought that they were going to do. So, and that leads me to my next question, which, Scotty, I'll bring over to you. I mean, as far as Solo Sikoa comes to play, right? Do you think it's evident that Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga will be involved in this matchup, whether it costs Fatu the matchup, whether it helps him to win this championship? Do you think it's evident that Solo gets involved here?
I hadn't thought of that, but that's definitely a real possibility. I haven't been able to keep up with SmackDown every week, so just watching the highlights. Yeah, the animosity between Fatu and Solo is still there. Um, I don't know. It's hard to say. Um, but I do feel like turning Jacob's face is not really the move right now, even though it seems like it's going in that direction.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he could be one of them heels that the crowd cheers. He doesn't have to be a face, in terms of storytelling. And as far as LA Knight goes, um, I did watch last week. It kind of seemed like what I was trying to gauge, like how crowd reception is with this guy. He went from being white hot to kind of fizzle down, but
Mhm.
he still gets a pop when he goes out there. So I don't think either one of these guys is gonna really hurt, depending on who's losing. But Fatu's probably gonna take it.
Yeah, I hear you, man. David, the same question goes to you, man. As far as Solo Sokoa is concerned, do you see him getting involved in this match and participating in this match some way, some form, whether Fatu wins this belt or not? What do you think, man, as far as Solo Sokoa is concerned?
I think if you involve Solo Sikoa, I think you have to have you have to have him you have to have to win the match. I just don't understand why moving him to a face kind of like why is that? That makes no sense to me. He has proven himself as a heel, and I think like Scotty said, even if the crowd loves him, you don't have to move him to face just because the crowd is cheering for him.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yep.
It's so weird. And I hate to cut you off,
Yeah.
David. It's so weird how we're doing this with a lot of these wrestlers. You notice how they're doing this a lot with people who start off as heels. Braun Breaker, which we're going to get into, they have done I don't know what they're doing with Braun Breaker. He's starting off as a heel, and because the crowd likes to bark along, oh, let's turn him face. Bro, you haven't even established him yet as a heel, and now he's a tweener, and now you're doing this with Fatu, and you do this with so many other talents. It's yeah, man, it's so odd. It's really weird. But yeah, continue.
No, I think LA's run as US champion has kind of, set its course. I think he should drop the title, but again, I'm just not ready for the outcome that everybody thinks is gonna happen because I just knowing based off the booking, and I don't hate Triple H's booking as much, but there are certain things that Triple H does that I'm just sitting there like, you really want me to switch my channel like that? That's what you want. You want me to just go on my PlayStation and just play 2K and run my own damn show? That's what you want me to do because he just there's certain things. It's like little pieces, and I'm just like, dude, why? So
Mhm.
if they're gonna have LA Knight drop the title, which I hope they do, you give that its respect. And if you're not gonna have him drop, if you're gonna have LA Knight win, make sure it's clean and just make just have a good match. Just give that match something because at this point, I feel like they're just gonna pull some bullshit and
It's going
it's
to be lazy booking.
right.
I mean, it's going to be run-ins and yeah, yep.
And again, most of it is it's not even that we're just looking at this match like, oh, this match is gonna suck. It's the fact that you decided 2 weeks ago to just throw it in there. You just started to throw it in the card last minute. Like, no, like what? Like, no, come on,
Yeah,
man. Like even Vince would. I don't even think Vince would have did that. And I can't stand the guy, but dude,
he
like
wouldn't.
Triple H, this is my thing with Triple H is that he knows better because what you did in NXT is not it's you're not that guy no more, bro. Like NXT, he had something there every week
Yeah.
in the NXT to see what the hell was going on. From Garganos to Velveteen Dream to fucking Finn Balor when they had him go back down to NXT. Everything
Champa.
in terms of him being the head of NXT was gold. All of a sudden, Vince is out because of what we know he was out for. They put Triple H takes over, and it's just like, I respect certain things that he's done, but there are also things that I'm like, I would have never thought he would go with it. And it's like it's kind of Vince like. I would have always
Mm.
thought Triple H would have moved away from what Vince was trying to do with the PG era and kind of turn into more of a ruthless aggression type of TV 14 because with Netflix, they're kind of giving you everything that you want. They're letting you run with the ship. They're letting you take the ball and just take it out the park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us something a little bit more edgier, and that's kind of what I've been wanting, and I really haven't got it yet. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping with this match they give it its respect, and if you're not, man, it might be one of those matches where LA Knight he might be like, man, I don't know what the hell you guys are doing because
Yeah.
LA Knight, regardless of what people want to say about LA Knight, he's earned his respect as well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy,
for sure.
Absolutely.
crowd still loves him, regardless of, even though like I think his title run is kind of drying out, but he'll never die out with the fans. His character is definitely up there. Like
Absolutely. Absolutely, David. There's so much that I want to piggyback off of what you just said about Triple H, but if I do that, we're gonna be here for 3 more fucking hours, and I'm not gonna do that.
Hey, listen, when you decide to do an episode on just bombarding Triple H, as much as like I said, I respect the guy, let me know. I'll join that as well because I'm here.
Anyway, let's get into this next matchup, fellas. Now, you want to talk about what the fuck? This is it right here. This is for the IC Championship. This is Braun Breaker. This is Penta. This is Finn Balor. And this is Dominik Mysterio in a fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. Scotty can't help himself. He's just like, yeah, I'm just as baffled as you, Scotty. Trust me, about this matchup. Oh man, who do I want to start? You know what, Scotty? Since I could see the look on your face, I'm just going to start off with you, bro. As far as Braun Breaker, let's start off with him, right? The champion. As far as Braun Breaker is concerned, right? And we talked about this earlier about his booking from going heel to being a tweener, right? He was feuding with AJ Styles, and all of a sudden, like, poof, he's now a face, and he's merged into this fatal 4-way. So, Scotty, is it fair to say that Braun Breaker's booking has been pretty confusing and pretty inconsistent up until this point leading into this match? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. I mean, ever since he won the IC title back, I just don't know what to make of him. Like, crowd reception, clearly he's getting it. Everybody's woofing and hollering. I get all that. But I'm like, where's he going with this? And side note, okay, we got a fatal 4-way. NXT's doing a fatal 4-way. We got 2 triple threats. This makes me think of Cornette talking to Vince Russo. DQ, Schmeek, who cares? That's what this ass booking looks like.
Yeah.
So
For real.
I don't know. I'm sorry. One of those people right now, all the Latin wrestlers right now, I don't care about because they got them huddled in this corner that no one's getting out of. No one's in any kind of interesting story. They bring people in and then they take them out. So unfortunately, Braun Breaker is suffering by getting shoved in this little cramped ass box. That's the way I look at it.
No,
like,
absolutely.
I enjoy watching Penta work, but they're not really doing anything with him. Phoenix just got here. It's yet to be seen. I do not give 2 craps about the LWO. I'm disappointed that Zelina is still even remotely, connected to that.
Yeah.
But I just don't know.
All of that.
No clue, bro.
Yeah.
Oh man, Denard, same question goes to you, man. Is it fair to say that Braun Breaker's booking has been both inconsistent and confusing since winning back the IC Championship?
Braun Breaker, welcome to the mid-card vortex, where you're just stuck in limbo, and you're pretty much hanging out either with the LWO, who, by the way, the LWO only feuds with anybody of Hispanic descent. Same thing with what they do with the black talent as well. But hey, I digress. But
you nailed it.
But do not be surprised if one Dominik Mysterio walks out of here with the title. And I will admit that Braun's booking so far since winning back the Intercontinental title has been pretty inconsistent. One minute he's a heel, the next minute, fans are cheering for him because he barks, and that's, like I said, it doesn't take much to get wrestling fans to play puppet, or parrot, to be more specific. You say do something catchy, hey, they'll follow along and do it with you. But honestly, I think the best thing for Braun Breaker would be to lose the Intercontinental title and to move on away from it. I think he's big enough to try and go for something bigger, possibly a world title. I do see another draft coming over the horizon after WrestleMania. So if he ends up going to SmackDown, hey, do something else. Just don't go for the U.S. title.
The good old brand split that WWE loves to
Nasty.
loves to yeah, nasty. That's the
Nasty.
perfect way to say it. David, man, my next question goes over to you, right? So speaking of, Braun Breaker again in this IC championship, right? To where obviously kind of like what Denard mentioned, right? To where it might be best suited for Braun Breaker's booking to him to just get rid of this title, right? At least that's what a lot of people are starting to make the conclusion. So, but David, as far as Braun Breaker holding on to the championship, is there any chance that Braun Breaker does walk out of WrestleMania still as the Intercontinental Champion? What do you think?
If you're not gonna, I think Lice can put it perfectly. If Dominik Mysterio doesn't walk out as the new champion, I think Braun comes out and retains the title. I just don't. I love Penta. I think he gets a lot of disrespect. I don't know why. And I think he's phenomenal in terms of his wrestling ability and his character.
Yeah.
It's too early to put a title on him. I think Scotty mentioned that Phoenix is here. So you want to see what you could do with them two before you decide to put Penta in any big situation. But again, it's as much as we want to ask, what the hell they're gonna do with Braun Breaker. What the hell are you gonna do with Dominik? I mean, Dominik has been a good heel, and it's like at some point you're wasting his damn time. Like, what are we doing? And like that's my issue. It's he's actually got a reaction with the crowd. Like the crowd, as much as they hate him, they want to see this guy succeed. They were happy that they finally got him away from his dad, and they gave him something by himself where he's able to carry the ball and go ahead and do something. At some point, you got to put Golder on this guy. I'm not saying put him in the main event for the WWE title, but this is his opportunity to use to do everything that he's done as a heel and be rewarded. And if you're not going to reward him, you're just going to give Braun Breaker that opportunity, then I need somebody to explain to me what happens to Braun after this with that IC title. Because as of right now, love Braun Breaker. I think he's phenomenal. Again, I never understood why they moved him as a face. I thought he was better as a heel. But hey, I guess once the crowd, like Lightskin said, once they become puppets, you got to move him as a face. If nobody can explain to me whatever they do with Braun Breaker if he retains is going to make sense. It's just going to be stale. Nobody's going to be interested in what Braun's going to do after that because and we're seeing it now. Dominik Mysterio can at least carry it to where he can face other mid-carders and make them look great and use that heel factor to his advantage. Why? Because as of right now, the heels are doing a pretty good job more than the faces are. Let's be honest. And many people may not like it, but listen, it's a fact. It's a fucking fact. This is why I wanted to send Vince a gift basket for saying thank you for doing the right thing with Roman Reigns when you did. Because the brother was pissing me. He could never cut it as a face. And you want to know something? You want to know why it's working? And I'll give this credit to Triple H. Because at least they didn't move him to the fucking superhero looking like motherfucker that they did. They kept him in his heel persona. And they said, you know what? The fans are going to cheer for him. But let's not have him parasite to the crowd. Let's not have him, give the crowd acknowledgement. Let's keep him in his heel persona where the crowd is going to cheer him. Like we just said, you could be a heel and the crowd is going to cheer you. That doesn't mean you have to put him as a face. They're doing that with Roman. Roman could be a face and he still has some of his heel personas. So at some point it's like, they could have just kept Braun where he's at as a heel. They have Dominik right now where he's still gaining traction as a heel. Put the title on that kid. Because at some point, he's going to find himself at the end of his contract, and he's going to call up Tony Khan and be like, yo, Khan, can you do something with me? Because right now, Triple H is pissing me the fuck off, and I need to do something with him. At least Khan is going to look at him and be like, you know what? I'll put gold on you where the people he walks in the building. So
Yeah, man. Brian, the same question goes to you. Any chance that Braun Breaker walks out of WrestleMania with the IC title? I already feel like I know what you're going to say, but again, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a chance, but if so, I'm not interested. I mean, right now it's got to be Dom, man. He has to walk out of here with the IC title. And for me, I mean, Dom, man, you think about when this kid came in. I mean, what's it been? Maybe 3 years ago now, maybe a little longer, 4. I don't know. But you talk about like who is doing good heel work within wrestling, or that we need heels. Dom has been low key killing it for a long time, man. As far as what a heel needs to be in wrestling. So and they need to finish this fucking Judgment Day story. So yeah, man, it's for me. Dom should be walking out here the IC champion, and I don't know what you do with Bron, but you can do a lot of stuff with Bron without the title. Penta again, we know Ray Phoenix just came back. If it was me, I mean, you got to put them together at least initially in the tag team division, to have them there in the tag team division, and that leaves Dom and Finn, and yeah, it's got to be Dom, man, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the thing is, too, fellas, and we'll get into this next matchup in just a second, right? Like the one thing that's just is so odd about this match, and not the fact that again it was thrown together last minute within less than 2 weeks away from the fucking show to begin with, but it's the fact that like even Dominik Mysterio, right? We talk about Dominik Mysterio winning this championship, and I mentioned this in the solo show that I just did this past week. Like Dominik Mysterio has won 3 singles matches in this past year. And now here he is getting a title opportunity. Like, and I get it. Like, it's pro wrestling when it comes to predetermining the matches and the wins and losses. Like, I get it, man. But you still like wins and losses. Like that still has to play a toll of how these people are getting to this point. Like Dominik Mysterio, again, granted, yes, Dominik Mysterio for what's been given to him has done a tremendous job. But like, you got to make it make sense for a dude who has won 3 singles matches in the past year, and his prize is getting an IC title opportunity. Finn Balor, love frickin' Finn Balor. Since 2023, he's won 2 matches, and he's getting an IC title opportunity. This is what I mean, man, about matches that are just so last minute. The fact that also Braun Breaker, we talk about Braun Breaker, he was feuding with AJ Styles. Now Styles is feuding with Logan Paul, which was completely so fucking random because again, they have nothing. They're paying everybody thousands upon thousands of dollars and saying, hey, buy WrestleMania, we're making all of our tickets that much more expensive, but you don't know what the matches are going to be within less than 2 fucking weeks. And this is evident, man. It's all over the place, and this is why this match, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, I don't care. Even if Dominik does win the IC title, then what, bro? Like, what have we experienced so far in the past that they're going to book these mid-card championships properly? Like, what has been the evidence so far over the only person maybe was Gunther, maybe lately. And that was still when McMahon was still around at the time. And this is a hot take, I'm sorry, but freaking Vince McMahon booked Gunther better than Triple H is booking Gunther right now. I'm just throwing that out there. That might be a fucking hot take.
And they got him away from Walter. That's when I knew shit was gonna the shit was gonna go down to the ground. Oh my god, he was such a diamond in NXT when he was fucking Walter.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my, absolutely. So yeah, as far as this IC title match, man, it's just like, listen, Dominik can win it. There's this, this tension now that's between Finn and Dominik now for a very long time about adding a new member to the Judgment Day. So that's gonna play a role in this matchup, and Dominik Mysterio can walk out as champion. Okay, great. But again, what have you proven to us that you're gonna now book Dominik as a dominant Intercontinental champion, right? And the fact that he has only won 3 matches and he has been putting over a lot of people, it's like you got to make it make sense, man. And that's why I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing here with this situation? But
this is how I think it works for Dom, because like you said, he hasn't won. And out of these 4 guys in the match, I would say probably if you took a poll of who you people legitimately think is going to win, Dom, I would say, is probably number 4 in that list. So to have like a surprise victory for Dom, and the fact that he's been talking about trying to add a new member, he's already got a new member. Like there is already a new member, and Finn's out.
Yeah.
I just think that's how you build and book Dom for this, and that could do wonders for Dom. And you're not going to book him as a dominant Intercontinental champion. He's going to be a chicken shit champion.
Yeah. And that's a perfect role for him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right.
So, and it just comes down to who are you putting him with against and how you're going about it on a week to week basis. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But all right, now let's get it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off, shall we? This is for the women's championship. This is your Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair, versus Tiffany Stratton, your champion. Brian, I'll have you start for this match. As listen, for Charlotte Flair, right? And this is where we kind of just get into Charlotte Flair specifically. I mean, guys, it's evident to where, you see the numbers, you've heard the backlash from all over the IWC and the pro wrestling fans. Like, people are just so drained out, and they've had it with this agenda with Charlotte Flair, right? So as far as Charlotte Flair's character, Brian, is concerned, like, at this point, do you feel like that it's time that Charlotte Flair goes back to the drawing board with her character and with her persona because of the backlash that's happened over the past since the Royal Rumble? What are your thoughts?
100%. But I don't know that she's really in a position to do that, as because she's just coming back. So to do a 180, and I mean you can't take her off TV for any period of time and have her come back again. I mean, yeah, it needs to be changed, but I don't know how you do it with Charlotte Flair. I really don't. I'll leave it at that, man. I'll listen to y'all and get y'all's thoughts in it, because I'm fucking. There's just not much to say, man. It's the shits.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to come down to Charlotte Flair herself to make that decision at this point, because this company has proven now for 10 plus years that they're not going to do anything at all. They're just going to keep running her out there in the same gimmick, the same shtick, and until Charlotte, just like and David, you mentioned this before too about Roman Reigns and his heel persona, his tribal chief shtick. You can thank Joe Anoa'i for that, because if it wasn't for Joe Anoa'i walking into Vince McMahon's office, you would still have the same big dog Roman Reigns that you saw in the last back in before COVID, 2019 and before. So it's going to take up to that point for Charlotte Flair to look herself in the mirror. It says, yeah. And Brian, you said it perfectly when we were on the show talking about it on SmackDown. Like, yeah, I'm winning all these titles, I'm winning these championships, but I have zero connection with this fucking audience. Like, we have nothing.
Yeah.
So,
and David, it's not like the booze and the shit she's getting. Like, that's not good heel heat. That's not her like, oh, I'm doing my job, this is working. No. No.
Absolutely. So David, I'll shift this over to Tiffany Stratton, right? Because we can go on and on talking about Charlotte Flair about this when it comes to this match. But David, my question to you about Tiffany Stratton so far, right? I mean, people are starting to come to the conclusion that Charlotte Flair could potentially, or at least be more of the favorite to win this match and take it from Tiffany. And if that's the case, Top, where do you think, if Tiffany loses this championship, where do you think she goes from here at that point?
Absolutely nowhere. Where else is she supposed to go? You gave her the title. Like, she's doing well with it. I'm so sick and tired of this company always throwing Charlotte Flair down our fucking throats. I'm sick. I'm just done. Like, at this, I'm glad that this universe is finally understanding our pain. Like, they're not booing her because they like her. They're booing her because she sucks as a character. Like, yeah, she's a great in-ring performer. I will never say anything negative in terms of her wrestling abilities. She can wrestle. In terms of her character, it's not it. It's like, at some point, somebody got to go up to her and be like, listen, this I saw right through it. When he started consistently putting the titles on her, I saw right through it. I said, you're only doing this to keep her as her as her father, like trying to keep this shit as a Ric Flair. No, you do something else with her. Like what they did with Ric Flair, that's his own thing. Like let her be something else. You don't have to keep bombarding her and throwing the title at her so we could be like, yeah, so she could get 16 just like her father. No one cares. That's the thing, is like no one cares about that. So if they do the obvious of having her go over and winning the title, I promise you guys, whatever happens at WrestleMania, she will get so much boo. She will get booed so loud that I think it's worse than what Dom has gone through in terms of a heel.
Yeah, she ain't gonna be able to cut that promo on Raw or SmackDown or whatever it is. Yeah,
wants to save his show. You might as well not even have her show up.
Yeah.
You might as well not even. I swear to God, if she shows up, I promise you, I'm unsubscribing from Netflix. I promise you. I'm done with this shit. I'm literally done with this shit. This girl, she was out for injury. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. You didn't need to put her in. I'm gonna be honest with you. She didn't even need to be in a title match. She didn't. She really did not. That's how good she is. She's good enough to be in a card as a single match. She did not need to be booked in a title match. And you know what they did? They said, "Here, we're giving you that." Yeah. I swear to God, if they take that opportunity from Tiffany Stratton, who has been over with the crowd, and listen, I was skeptical about them moving her from a face to a heel, but it's working. I will give them that. If they fuck this shit up and say, "Yeah, you're done. We're giving the title back to Charlotte," I swear to God, James, you are going to see the most disrespectful tweet that you have ever seen from me. And I don't violate, but it's getting to that point because I am done with them putting this girl over. And again, I'm a John Cena fan. So many people tell me, listen, what they're doing with Charlotte, they did it with Cena. Granted, they don't need to do it with her. They don't.
And Cena can make it work.
Cena can make it work. Thank you. And it was a different era in that time. Yeah. This is not. Everybody is seeing past the bullshit. That's the thing, is that not everybody's buying into the bullshit that you're doing with her. So I hope, for God's sake, that they don't ruin this girl, Tiffany Stratton's moment, and they actually give her her WrestleMania moment and let her, even if she drops the title at SummerSlam, she had a good run with it. Why? Because the crowd is actually into it, and she's gaining respect. And for you to destroy that, if you do, again, Charlotte Flair might as well just do what CM Punk did after WrestleMania 29 and not even show up for like 4 months. She might as well. It's gonna be bad for her. I promise you.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. Lightskin, I'm gonna give you a different question here, man, and this kind of has to tie into the promo that Tiffany and Charlotte cut not too long ago, right? So where it's caught a lot of attention, right? A lot of attention because of that promo. And a lot of people say that it's gained a little bit of a spark in the match because of how real the promo felt. So Lightskin, in your honest take, man, as far as the promo altercation that these two had the last couple of weeks on SmackDown, would you say that, at least for your interest, that it's created a spark and any type of interest for you as far as this matchup and this build is concerned because of that promo that they had several weeks ago?
Well, personally, I didn't like it. I didn't care for it.
Same.
The general consensus is that it was more shoot than anything else. Like the two basically went off script. And look what that news has made wrestling fans do. It has made wrestling fans talk about it amongst themselves and amongst us here on social media, to the point where, I wonder what's going to happen now at WrestleMania, because now the narrative is Tiffy and Charlotte don't like each other. They don't get along. Maybe something will happen in the match. I think that's why people are interested in seeing just how much off the rails this match goes come WrestleMania. I've always said that it's not that I dislike Charlotte. I don't dislike Charlotte. I just dislike the way that her opponents have been booked to face Charlotte. I've always said Tiffany does better as a heel.
Yes.
So I felt like Tiffy was probably supposed to say something in that promo battle that was going to if you remember when Paige mentioned Charlotte's brother Reed, who had passed, and how much we were, invested into that. I thought Tiffy should have went there to basically make Tiffany the heel, and then kind of have gained some sort of sympathy and empathy from the fans to make Charlotte look like the baby face. But instead, they kind of just went back and forth while wearing the same outfit,
I noticed,
which is pretty
I
telling.
wonder, who did that, because somebody got word, this is what they're wearing. They did.
I think it sends a very important message. Charlotte is the old guard, even though she's still technically pretty young. Tiffany's this new face. Tiffany is here in this position to replace Charlotte. That, I think, is what is trying to be said here. It's just nobody has gotten the memo yet. So, I mean, as far as who I believe is going to go over in the match, I hope it's Tiffany, to be honest. What can you do with what can you do with Charlotte does? Look, Charlotte wins, lol. It's something that we expect,
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
Absolutely.
it comes to Charlotte's character, look at all of the other second, third generation wrestlers that come out. They've had to completely stray away from who their predecessors were.
The gimmick of the
Yeah,
or the
Dustin.
name.
Yeah, Dustin had to basically become a completely different character from his dad. Same thing with Cody.
Randy Orton
Randy
isn't
Orton,
anything
Roman
like his dad.
Reigns,
The Rock.
The Rock. They all had to become something different. Charlotte is the only person that is basically nothing but a copy and paste of her dad.
Thank you.
Yo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, the one thing that I think would help salvage Charlotte Flair is if they create a character that even Charlotte can't beat. And I think they had that with Nia Jax, but they keep fumbling with that too as well. So they got to create some sort of unstoppable force that Charlotte can't get past. They've already booked Charlotte to be the greatest of all time. But I think what's really hindered her is that Sasha Banks is gone. Becky Lynch is gone. The only one of the 4 horsewomen that is still there is Bayley, and she's, doing her own thing, and they don't know what to do with her. So.
Yeah.
By the way, Lyskin, and just because you brought up Sasha Banks, did you not realize Sasha Banks made half of that women's roster look great?
Yes.
Did you notice that Sasha Banks brought some type of umph into that women's division up until she left? Like they completely did her dirty. Like I want people to understand that Sasha Banks made Charlotte great. I want people to stop with this. Like, give Sasha her credit, man. I'm tired of them disrespecting Sasha Banks as if she was a rebel and she was complaining for no reason. No, she complained because they did her dirty. But at the same time, WWE has to acknowledge the fact that they lost somebody in her prime that without her, that we would have not been intrigued into that women's roster. Let's be honest. Like I'm tired of watching other content creators disrespect Sasha Banks as if she never did anything. No, when it came to Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks made her what she was. Let's be honest. Their matches, and granted, like I've said before, I will never take away Charlotte's wrestling ability. She can wrestle. It's the character that I can't stand. But when it came to her and Sasha, it was money because Sasha knew what she was doing with Charlotte. Once you took Sasha away from Charlotte and you put Charlotte with everybody else, it didn't create the same magic. And there's
no chemistry.
There's no chemistry.
And Sasha Mercedes, whatever you want to call her, she has this ability to create chemistry with pretty much anybody. Case in point, when she went over to Japan, when she is now doing an AEW, her matches with Chris Statlander and the matches that she's had with Willow are just amazing.
Look at her and Bayley. People said Bayley didn't know how to.
The 4 horsemen, man. It was always Sasha and Bayley.
One of the
those were the two.
One of the best female matches of all time was NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was Bayley and Sasha. One of the best female women's matches that I've ever seen. At least ever.
Because of those
that Iron Woman match was great.
Because of the chemistry, they put Bayley over, and not one single person was upset. Everybody said, yo, we like it. Why? Because although people didn't like the way Bayley wrestled, Sasha made her look great to the point where nobody was upset that they gave it to Bayley because they were like, you know what? Sasha's great enough to give somebody who she's better than, but was able to transfer that to Bayley and make Bayley a better wrestler than she was previously. Yeah. And they don't have that in this division. The most that I could say is probably maybe Tiffany herself. But again, that's saying a lot. So
I say this all the time about Mercedes. I hate to go off topic here, but I like to say like Mercedes when it comes to all of her matches, And this is why I put Mercedes on such a pedestal, to where she has been everybody's best match. You want to go through Becky's best matchup, at least up there, maybe second tier, is with Sasha. We talk about Charlotte Flair, it's with Sasha. People like frickin' Io Sky, it's with Bailey, it's with Sasha, right?
Bianca.
All of these people. Bianca Belair at WrestleMania, what was that? WrestleMania 30, what was it? 30. Which match? What was that? Was it 37? I think it was 37.
38.
37.
Yeah, I think it was 37. It was 37. Yeah, match of with Bianca Belair. Because it was in Florida. That was in Florida after the COVID. That was after the COVID year. And then WrestleMania 38. WrestleMania 38 is when Cody debuted, or re-debuted, I should say, back at WWE.
They didn't even give that match a respect. They put him as a main event, and that was it. They didn't do nothing with those two.
No.
And that's the shit that pissed me off. It was like they created so much chemistry in that one match. Why not build off of that?
Yeah, they did the turn very well, to where they had Sasha turn on Bailey, but outside of that, yeah, David, that was it. That was really it. So, but Scotty, my next question goes over to you, man, about this matchup. As far as this matchup is concerned, as you know, we talk about the match itself. I mean, it's Charlotte, it's Tiffany. We talk about the in-ring work. Will they most likely go out and have a really good match? Sure, obviously, right? So as far as that is concerned, do you feel like that the matchup itself can maybe save the build and the story? I use that in air quotes, the story and the backlash. Do you feel like the matchup can be good enough to save all of this stuff leading into it? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'll say yes, but kind of take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
You know, their promo, in terms of what it did for the build-up, it's hit or miss. Like, I know you guys didn't like it. There are some people that loved it because it was a shoot, because it was so realistic. And the fan base is definitely divided. Like, people love Tiffany for standing up to Charlotte. Some people are like, yo, you brought in something personal that was like very touching that she just talked about. You shouldn't have gone there. So it's really hard to say who's going to come out looking better. In terms of what the in-ring is going to look like, it'll be solid at the very least. I've never seen these two work together, and if I'm being honest, from what little I've seen of Charlotte, she's still not at 100%. She might be, the knee might be fine, but in terms of her, there's definitely a lot of ring rust there, and I don't know how their in-ring chemistry is going to work. I know this. I don't want to see Charlotte win another world title. At least not yet. Bro.
Yeah.
I went off on a tirade on one of my videos. I want to see her start from the bottom and work her way all the way freaking up. I don't think that's too much to ask for. As long as we've seen her as champion, it would be so nice just to get people on her side by making her the underdog. So maybe like you said before, maybe a new character is the way to go, because everybody is sick of what we got. Like, as a heel, she's good only because people don't like her. That doesn't necessarily make her a good heel.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks, considering how good she is in ring. And when she's in her element, she actually is good character-wise.
Yeah, she is.
The problem is her element is only on pay-per-views surrounding the world title. That doesn't make you that good. That makes you transitionally good or situationally good.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So, and I'll kind of end it with this, right? Because there's still a couple more matches we need to get into, right? I always say this about Charlotte Flair, because I want to be fair, right? As much as I don't like Charlotte Flair as a character, right, and as a gimmick, to where I will be the first one to admit, yeah, she's a good in-ring performer, and there is a lot of things that she has to offer for the company. But it's kind of like what Lightskin said earlier. It's the way that she is booked and how other characters and performers look as such when they face her. Like, what is making us believe, because she's more athletic and because her last name is Flair, that she has that much more to offer than all of these other talents to win 15 fucking world titles? Like, what is it? It doesn't make any freaking sense. And you're pushing this narrative now for the last 10 years. Because, right, that's exactly it, because the last name is Flair. And it's bullshit. Like, you're telling me that she's that much more superior over Bianca, over Io Sky, over Sasha Banks, over Bailey, over Alexa Bliss.
Naomi.
Naomi's been in this business for 15 years. She's gotten shit up until this point now. like guys, it's such bullshit. So it's not the fact that I dislike Charlotte. It's like I want to like Charlotte, but it's how she's portrayed and how she's booked is the problem. That's the problem. But we'll soon find out. We're either going to be freaking cheering uproar for freaking Tiffany winning this championship or retaining her title, or we're all going to be just, what the fuck, after potentially freaking Charlotte wins back this freaking title. Who the hell knows? But anyway, moving on. Let's get into this next championship matchup. This will most likely be starting WrestleMania off for WrestleMania Night 1. This is for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is your Royal Rumble winner, Jey Uso. I'm not going to yeet. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to fucking do it. I'm sorry. But, and then your champion, Gunther. I'm not going to do that. I was at Monday Night Raw freaking not too long ago in Charlotte. I probably was maybe one of the few that did not yeet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and do this yeet shtick. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it. I have video to prove it. I have video to prove it of me just going like, no yeet. No, I'm not fucking doing it. So anyway, I should say, instead of Jey Uso, I should call him Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, because after what happened last Monday night on Raw, I'm not afraid anymore towards Gunther in his promo. Anyway, oh man, let me start off this. Let me start with you, Lightskin. I'll start you off with this. As far as this, I guess you could say this feud, right? I guess if you want to call it this feud. If it kind of tying back to a similar question that we talked about in a previous matchup, if you had to rate this feud from a scale from 1 to 10, what would it be and why?
I would rate it a 4 because of the execution of everything. There were things where I had been, the very first time myself and my friend Dedrian, over up on the City of Wrestling on YouTube, we did a live reaction to the Royal Rumble, and our first thoughts of the Royal Rumble was, first off, Roxanne Perez should have won the Royal Rumble, not Charlotte Flair, because for all of the people who say that they don't watch NXT, that would have made you start watching NXT. Was to see, oh, hey, here's this person who they say is from NXT. Let's go watch it and see what all the fuss is about. That was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 was probably saying, okay, we'll give the Royal Rumble victory to Jey Uso. Now, granted, I understand it, because Jey Uso sold a lot of merch. The fans are behind him, this, that, and the third. But if you're going to have him win the Royal Rumble, why have him go after the title that he lost to cleanly twice?
Right.
One of those times was 3 weeks prior to a week. What was it? 2 weeks or a week prior to the
It was recent.
It was a week. It was a week, bro. It was a Saturday night's main event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you do the same fucking match.
It was a week prior, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try my luck again at the World Heavyweight title. I mean, the match that would have made the most sense would be to go after Cody. And I understand, Cody versus John is a big money match, but the lineage with the belt for that family, Cody is holding. That would be a good way to get that belt back within the family, within the bloodline. And I know people are kind of sick and tired of hearing about the bloodline, but as far as I'm concerned, those are pretty much the only people you are pretty much promoting in this WrestleMania to begin with, are you not? You got Roman Reigns main eventing night 1. You have Jacob Fatu going after a title. You have Jey pretty much, going after the World Heavyweight title, a title that he already went for, 2 months prior, But, I mean, again, and the whole beating up Jimmy while Jey is zip-tied, only to have him come back the following week, dressed in all black, to basically, like you said, James, pull a Kevin McAllister. I'm not afraid anymore. It would have made more sense if he didn't show up, or he was just to shoot a vignette of him outside of the Target Center, because that Raw was in Minneapolis, in my hometown, for that. Just have him be like, look, I'm not coming in just based upon what I know I'm going to do to you if I see you on site. I want to be able to beat you in a legal sense. When it comes down to WrestleMania, I don't want to see Jey go for any pins. I want to see him beat Gunther to a bloody pulp. He's already made this more about the World Heavyweight title. It's not about the title anymore. This man has disrespected your family, not just by beating your twin, but shedding the blood of your family. The blood that has been told is pretty much the foundation of this professional wrestling business. All right? As far as I'm concerned, you don't need to pin that man. You need to beat him within an inch of his life till the referee says, all right, no more. We're done. You're the champ now. That's what needs to happen. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm so glad, Lightskin, you brought that up about Saturday night's main event, bro. It's just like they didn't care enough to freaking build this up to properly. It's like you put this on Saturday night's main event, and now you expect everybody else. By the way, the matchup wasn't that great. I mean, let's be honest. The matchup was very, very average at best. And now to get to WrestleMania, you expect us to care that much more about watching the same match at WrestleMania? Like stop. Like, what are we doing? It's so odd of how you've gotten here. Like, if you want to make Jey Uso win the Rumble and do all this stuff, like, fine. But at least, like, you gotta get there to make it make sense. Like, why would you throw this on Saturday night's main event if you were gonna have Jey Uso win this Rumble? This is what I mean about Triple H's booking, to where a lot of things are very last minute. It's day by day, and it all comes back to bite them, because now you hear all this backlash from Jey Uso, not because it's Jey Uso that people have a problem with. It's the booking and how everything is being portrayed. That's the problem. So, but Scotty,
if you have noticed, WrestleMania 39 has been pretty much booked all Vince McMahon's way, correct?
Pretty much.
I would pretty
yeah. And then you got WrestleMania 40, where McMahon's out of the picture, but Triple H is basically working with a lot of McMahon storylines, right?
Yeah, pretty much the Bloodline storyline. Yeah, the Judgment Day. Yeah.
I'll say it like this: Triple H's success depends on this WrestleMania, because he ain't got nobody to basically pass the buck to.
Yep. Pretty much. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Scotty, wow. I'm gonna pass this off to you, man. Now, there's been a lot, again, backlash when it comes to Jey Uso and winning this Rumble, right? Now, I have my takes. I've said it before. Like, Jey Uso winning this Rumble, I'm sorry. It was a complete botch, to where, okay, you're basing it off of the fact that he has one shtick in his arsenal, and that's the yeet, right? Outside of the yeet, what is the character, what is the gimmick offering to us fans? Which is why I love the freaking Gunther segment of him beating up Jimmy, right? Inserting Jimmy into the story. I thought that's a way, Brian, like you said, it's to care about the face, because now you want to see Jey get his hands on Gunther. But outside of the yeets, because everybody yeets, that's why pretty much Jey won this freaking Rumble. So, Scotty, as far as your takes are concerned, man, do you feel like at this point that Jey Uso winning the Rumble was the right call? And if not, why?
I don't know if it was the right call, but maybe I'm one of the few guys that was okay with it. There's this guy that I follow on Instagram. His name is Casual Oldhead. I love his takes. But he said something about Jey Uso that resonated with me. He's like, he's not the most articulate guy. Yeah, he's got swag and all this. The thing that stands out about him is that when he talks, primarily with his promos, and he's just talking shit, he makes you feel it. And for me, Jey makes me feel it every time. So even this promo he did on Raw this week, was it great what he was saying? Not really. And like the whole "I'm not afraid of you," I saw your video, but that junk cracked me up. I'm at work at my desk cracking up. Like, but I like the promo. I felt what he was saying. I'm like, nah. Jey Uso he's a real guy. Like, yes, he's acting. This is his job, but I feel like he put so much of it. That's why, when he's talking like family business, he'll use his real name. He did the same thing when him and Jimmy went up against each other at WrestleMania last year. So, was it the right call? I don't know. I feel like he's probably going to win it anyway, because at this point, it's sink or swim. You can't keep calling him main event Jey Uso if he's not going to win something. And truth be told, as much as I love Gunther, his championship reign has been ass. So
yeah, it's been horrible.
There's no point in keeping the title on him, really. And right now, it doesn't seem like anyone backstage is concerned about maintaining any kind of prestige with the World Heavyweight title. So why not give it to Jay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is he going to do something spectacular with it? Probably not. But it's really not being handled very well in Gunther's hands right now. That's not even Gunther's fault. I feel like I don't want to rabbit share too much. The amount of prestige he brought to the IC title was all him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even so much the title itself. The way
Yeah.
they built him up and the way his title run, it went perfectly. They did not do that this time around. So at this point, it almost doesn't matter who wins the world title. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
Good takes, man. Very good takes. David, next question goes to you, man. And this is, I guess you could say, piggybacking off of what Scotty just said. I mean, because of the fact that, he's main event Jey Uso, he's going to have to win something at some point in these big spots, right? So do you think it's evident because of how they are trying to book this and how they're going about it? Is it evident that Jey Uso is going to walk out of WrestleMania with this world title? What do you think?
I mean, I think you have to have him walk out. You make them lose at WrestleMania, and at this point, man, you might as well send them on vacation and not even make them come back. Just again, I'm kind of with Scotty. I was okay with them having him over because number one, I don't think anybody would have had Jey Uso. I think everybody kind of thought it was either going to be Punk or Cena. They didn't really have Jey Uso on the top of their list. So when they kind of went that route, I said, okay, I get it. He's over with the crowd right now. He's their number one guy in terms of merch. The crowd loves him. I get it. As much as him going through Saturday night's main event and losing the title to Gunther, and then him choosing the title again. As much as it is annoying, I don't see them having him lose again. There's no way you can tell me that this kid, on the momentum that he's on, with the amount of reactions that he's getting positively, that you're going to have him win the Rumble after what he was doing prior to the Rumble, to then come into the biggest match of his life, which, by the way, is not even main eventing. So you had this kid win the Royal Rumble when they specifically say for how many years a shot to main event WrestleMania, and he's not even main eventing. That, number one, is a slap in the face. With all jokes aside, like, we can say what we want. That's a spit in the face to the guy, because this is a guy that has been known as a tag team wrestler. So for them to make him what he is as a singles wrestler and to be over that big, for them to give him that opportunity and to tell him you're not going to main event WrestleMania, to me, if I'm Jey Uso, that's a slap in the face to me. You're spitting in my face for everything
Yeah, fair.
So for everything that they've done with him in terms of this feud, first of all, this feud is completely ass, and so is Gunther's title reign. I'm gonna just say that off the bat. But if you're gonna do something right, don't. It's the same thing with Tiffany. For everything that he has done and for all the reactions that he's gotten, because they easily could have booed him and said, "Yo, we're done with this yeet shit." They haven't, and they're still giving him love and respect. Put him over and do something right for once and just show that man his respect, because at this point you've already disrespected him enough by not making him a main event at WrestleMania after winning the Rumble. So the least that you can do is finish this story. This is a lot like Cody's situation, except Cody losing to Roman at WrestleMania the first time was understandable, but finish that story and just end it on a good way. Because honestly, if you have Gunther go over and win that match, number one, it's what are you doing with Gunther after that? Now everybody's kind of done with Gunther, and then on number two, it's like you're just putting Jey in a situation where his character is going to become stale because he doesn't have a title. So just put him over, and again, stop the disrespect with him. Because like
Yeah.
I said before, I was okay with him. I gave him his respect. I said, yo, he deserves to win that Rumble. But after I found out that they said he wasn't main eventing WrestleMania, I said, dude, Jey Uso, if he's a better man than me, because I would have ran in Triple H. I was like, am I hearing that correctly? After everything that I've done, to give you the numbers that you have within ratings and to give you the numbers within merchandise and to change the narrative that I could be more than just a tag team wrestler, and you give me that opportunity to win the Rumble, you're not gonna you're not putting me in that spot. I'm okay with losing, even if he said that. Hey, I'm okay with losing to Gunther. I just want to be recognized in that one moment of main eventing something that a lot of superstars don't have the opportunity to do, and that's main event WrestleMania. So the least that they can do
Yeah.
is give him his respect and have him walk out of WrestleMania as the new World Heavyweight Champion.
Brian, the same questions to you, man. Do you think it's evident that Jey walks out with the title at WrestleMania?
Yeah, I mean, it's no doubt. There's not much I have to add to it other than even with Gunther, with just Jey saying, I mean, he just said some shit. And even that, Gunther was like kind of shook, and this is Gunther, the world champion. I don't care. I mean, yeet. He's champion. Let's go home. I mean,
Right.
that's what's happening.
Let's fucking get it over with, man. Like, seriously, it's just like no fucking thing. I'd rather go play in traffic or pick up a bad habit than fucking yeets.
It's just and go back to like the Rumble. Like, was it a bad choice for him to win? No, not necessarily. But just from the booking from that till here to again. A title match, main event, Jey Uso. The booking has just been shit.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky. Babyface versus babyface versus babyface for the Women's World Championship. Brian, I'll start off with you. Do you feel like ever since Io has been inserted into this situation, right? And much love to Io. We love Io Sky. She's fantastic. She's obviously arguably one of the best female wrestlers on the planet right now. But let's face it. I mean, ever since Io Sky has been inserted into this situation where she won the championship, and now Rhea is being inserted in back into this because she signed a contract that was already signed on the dotted line, and now she's playing the role of Daniel Bryan when Daniel Bryan was trying to get into a matchup with Edge and Roman. That's pretty much Rhea Ripley right now, to where she comes out, she looks like she's fresh out of Hot Topic, and she whines, cries, bitches, and moans. Like, stop, man, enough. But anyway, Brian, do you think, going back to this question, do you think that since Io Sky has been inserted into this situation, that WWE has botched this entire matchup as well as storyline? Floor is yours.
100%, man. I mean, what did Io win? What's it been now? 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago? I don't know.
I'd say 3 weeks. 3 weeks to a month.
Yeah. I mean, so 3 weeks away from Mania, and again, I love Io too. I mean, but why at that point, with Rhea already your champion? And Bianca going to Mania, why did you have Io, go over in that match, seemingly just to get to the triple threat? And in which case you're totally shitting all over Io. I mean, yes, character booking, gimmicks, whatever, but again, they didn't have to put the title on her to begin with 3 weeks ago. Now she's just being pushed to the background. I don't know. I mean, it should have just been a one-on-one, Io and Rhea, but at this point, just because they fucked it up so much, and I still say Bianca is gonna win, and that truly is the right call. But at this point, I want Io to win just for pure spite. Like, I just hope somehow she pulls it out, man. I don't know how, but yeah, that's how I don't know why this ever became a thing, but since it has, it's been bad.
Yeah.
So let's go Io, man.
I feel you, bro. Absolutely. Lightskin, I'll send this over to you, man. I'll ask you the same question. Do you feel like ever since Io has been inserted into this situation with the world title, do you feel like that was the moment that WWE has, let's face it, has botched at this point because of Io's insertion into this world title?
I think WWE has always wanted to do Bianca versus Rhea. And if that's what you were going to do, why give the title to Io, who's basically an afterthought in this entire thing? I've heard rumors that they want to do another Evolution PLE, but at the same time, like, again, I still don't get why you inserted Io into this whole Bianca versus Rhea type deal when that was the match that you always wanted. You knew that eventually it was going to circle back around to Bianca and Rhea. WrestleMania 39 was pretty much that, that pretty much saying, oh yeah, eventually it's going to come down to these two. This is the face, because Bianca ended up Being a part of WrestleMania 39 and had a great match against Asuka. Rhea ended up defeating Charlotte. Like, we knew eventually at one point it was going to come down to these two.
Yeah.
Just inserting EO just to be there, just to take pie faces and be disrespected. That don't sit right with me. And y'all know me. I'm the residential
man.
Joshi
Me neither.
fan. So I am the residential Joshi fan. So again, I'm glad to see EO with the women's world title. But to me, I just feel like she's being treated as a placeholder. And that's
Absolutely. No, for sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too. It also comes across at like, what's the point of the Elimination Chamber? And also, what's the point of the Royal Rumble if you're not in the main event? Then stop saying it's for a main event freaking matchup at WrestleMania. Like, come on. It's so weird, man. This is what I mean about the booking. It's just that it's a day by day process. And clearly inserting Io Sky to where you're doing a title change before Mania, it comes across just sloppy. It's just sloppy booking. It's just day by day basis. But so I'm going to send this over to Scotty, man. Scotty, with this match, I'm going to talk about Bianca for just a second, or at least move on over to Bianca when it comes to this matchup, right? So obviously Bianca has this undefeated streak right now. They're promoting her, or at least WWE is selling the fact that she's undefeated at WrestleMania. Io Sky, let's face it, she's just like what Lightskin said. She's probably, or Io's going to be dropping this championship most likely. At least that's what most people are going to believe. Rhea, she just won the championship. I'm sorry, that world title is doing nothing more than being again an anchor to Rhea Ripley's booking. So, is it evident, Scotty, that you think that Bianca would win this championship and continue her undefeated streak at WrestleMania? What do you think?
Honestly, that's something I forgot. But now that you mention it, that's probably what's going to happen. And as much I love you, she's my favorite wrestler, female wrestler. As much as I want her to win, I feel like Bianca holding the title is probably the only chance we're going to get for the damn belt to mean anything, because ever since Rhea won it off Charlotte, it has been a prop. She barely defended it. She won it when she was still in Judgment Day, and ever since then, it really hasn't meant anything. Like, that belt has never existed outside of a storyline within a faction. So if Bianca holds it, she's not in a faction. She's no longer in the tag team. It can actually mean something, because when she was world champ, she actually defended the damn thing. Her title run was pretty good, even albeit all of her matches weren't great, but she actually had matches. And she did have a banger match with Io Sky at Backlash 2 years ago. So maybe they can run that back after she wins it. I don't know. But
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up, because I'd honestly forgotten about Bianca's.
Yeah.
What is she? If she wins, what's the
She's
streak?
5-0. 5-0.
Yeah,
She
5-0.
won. She won the world title. She beat Sasha at WrestleMania 37. Then she won the title at 38. Won at 39 to what was it to Asuka. And then she had the matchup. What was it? Was it a tag match or a trios match with Jade and Naomi from last year? So she is undefeated, if you want to go back to her NXT days. So hopefully we get that at some point soon too, by the way, but who knows? Time will only tell. David, your thoughts on Bianca, man? Do you think it's evident because of her undefeated streak and how things are going about? Do you think it's evident that Bianca walks out with this championship?
I think it does. I think it is evident, and I think Scotty hit on the nail. The only way you get that title to become relevant as it should be is by putting it back on Bianca. I have a feeling if they have Rhea Ripley go over, you're back in the same position that you were when she was holding the title. Io, to me, I love Io. She's great as an in-ring performer. She's over. I really do. I really was happy for her when she went over on Raw, even though I didn't really get the whole them, having her win on Raw didn't make sense to me, but I was happy for her. But at some point, it's like you're just looking at Io, like, we'll have you get this moment for a little bit before you gotta drop it. And I think, again, so you're not gonna do nothing with her, which it kind of seems like that. Just give it to Bianca. I mean, but you got something brewing with Bianca in terms of this undefeated streak at WrestleMania. And then on top of that, for so many people that complained about Bianca and her character and how it's stale, it's not stale. She's still over. Like, Like she's still on a hot momentum.
Yeah,
And
she is.
I'm
Yeah.
saying that because I think she's fine as hell. But she's done something with herself.
For show.
Fuck.
She's done
Shout out
something.
to Montez, bro. Shout out to
Listen,
Montez.
man. Montez a lucky guy, man. Montez deserves everything in life just because he got her. So I gotta tip my cap to him. But in terms of her wrestling ability, man, she does. I'm always enjoying her work. And I think right now, if Triple H wants to do something with that women's title, just put it on Bianca, because you'll have more people watching and wondering what Bianca's going to do instead of giving it to Rhea, where you're just throwing Rhea in segments and not having her defend. It's going to be the same thing with Io. Io's going to be wrestling in single competitions, and she's not even going to be defending the title. So what's the point? You're going to make that title worthless.
And they've already diminished her with the title anyway. So exactly. I mean,
At least Bianca's actually
right.
Good competition, and she's making that title mean something. So, I fully expect Bianca to go over. I think if they want to do something, not only continue to have her character at a good momentum, but build on that undefeated streak, man. Let that be something that Bianca has earned, because you already put her in that position.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, fellas, it's main event time. We're going to get into these two main event matches. First, this is the main event for night one. This is a triple threat match with Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Phil Brooks, CM Punk. In his corner is Paul Heyman, or Paul E. Dangerously, if we want to go to freaking ECW, by the way. Babyface versus babyface versus babyface in a triple threat match. Is there a title on the line? Fuck no. Why would there be anything on the line in a triple threat match? Because it's Triple H. It's frickin' Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley's booking. Why would anything be on the line? Why would anything make sense? Anyway, that's a different discussion for a different day. Scotty, I'll start this off with you, man. As far as this favor, right? Because that's obviously the main story of this entire triple threat, as well as history, right? We keep going back and piggybacking off of history. But as far as this favor is concerned, Scotty, do you feel like because of the fact that you've been or WWE, I should say, has been, with Punk and Rollins for quite some time, do you feel like because of this triple threat and how they've been going about things, do you feel like in a way that they've rushed this story between Punk and Roman Reigns for this matchup to where you could have done this one-on-one, but instead you do this in a triple threat with Seth? Do you feel like this was rushed? What do you think, man? The floor is yours.
No, I don't think it was rushed. Obviously, he teased it going back to Survivor Series. Rollins being in the match, it's neither here nor there, honestly. I don't really think he's taken away that much from the story between Roman and Punk. But this does feel like, no, there's no title. This feels like a custody for Paul Heyman match. And I'm sorry, to me, that's kind of golden because it's Paul freaking Heyman. In terms of the outcome of the match, I can't think that far ahead. I don't even know. It doesn't really matter who wins. It's like something's going to happen. Some kind of swerve is going to happen. What I'm hearing buzz online is that for some unforeseen reason that Heyman is going to go with Rollins, which I don't see how that's possible. But that's what they're swarming around the rumor mill. This is probably one of the few matches I'm actually excited for, even though it's not the best build up, but the story behind it is like it carries weight. And you got three superstars at the end of the day. Like, and it's three compelling superstars. Like, I freaking love Roman. I enjoy Punk, I enjoy Rollins, and we got Paul Heyman. So, yeah.
Oh, very well said, man. Very well said. Let's see. I'll send this over to you, Brian. Why not? Do you feel like in a way, and we've talked about this before, Brian, on the platform, but do you feel like in a way that because you haven't really tapped into Punk and Roman much at all in regards to the last several months, do you feel like this is rushed to where you could have done this one-on-one, and the fact that they are doing a triple threat match, do you feel like that this has been rushed at all between Punk and Roman? What are your thoughts, man? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's rushed. this should be a one of all of these if you want to do it like we've said.
One-on-one feuds.
Rollins versus Roman, Roman versus Punk. They're all separate stories
Separate
that are
feuds.
all
Thank
that
you.
would both be like grade A feuds and storylines where you could do, you know, a trilogy of matches or whatever. Um, you know, with the Rollins insertion here, I really hated it until last week. I mean, that promo with Rollins and Heyman, it got my mind turning, man. It was the first time I was really interested in Rollins at all. Um, and yeah, I don't. That's the only reason or way I see this ending kind of now is I don't know how, and I don't even know that Heyman would necessarily align himself with Rollins, but at least for this one night, Rollins is winning that match some way, somehow. And then you go into that feud with Punk and Roman. Um, I don't know how they get there. And this is also just for shits and giggles because I really don't. I think the allegations are true, so I really wouldn't want to see him back. But as you just said, this is a Paul Heyman custody match. I mean, what are the chances we hear a certain somebody's music when we all think it's said and done and they beat the shit out of each other? Any chance? I mean, I don't know what the legal status is right now, but goddamn, uh, I don't know. I just feel something big has got to happen in this match, and
Yep.
Brian,
You think?
are you talking about a streak breaker? Are you talking about a guy that they call the Incarnate?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then so Heyman's out there with Roman, Punk,
Uh,
and shit, Brock, and he owes a favor to Seth. So he's really fucked. And that's what this whole match is about, is Paul Heyman. So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.
Interesting. Very, very interesting, man, indeed. Lightskin, I'll send this over to you, my man. As far as this matchup is concerned, and again, this is a question we talked about earlier in a certain matchup, but with all of these three individuals, man, who do you think needs this victory more and why?
I can see why people are making comparisons for this WrestleMania main event to that of the main event of WrestleMania 2000. Because instead of a McMahon in every corner, you have a wise man in everybody's corner. So I understand the comparison to that. As far as who needs it more, truthfully, to me, it doesn't matter. You know, when they threw this match together and they said that this is going to be the main event, I was at first thinking, well, why the heck are we injecting CM Punk into this? It's always been about Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins because Seth is the guy who pretty much began the whole descent of Roman Reigns to begin with. From his suffer and succotash promo to the I'm the big dog, gimmick to what he is now, the original tribal chief. Seth Rollins has created this monster and he's felt like he's had to stop it. Now, why are we injecting CM Punk into this? Well, let's be perfectly honest. CM Punk has a history with Seth Rollins from when he re-debuted back into WWE. Seth Rollins doesn't want CM Punk here. He's pretty much gotten this close to getting to basically dealing with Roman Reigns and getting him completely out of WWE for good. Now he's got another problem in CM Punk. Roman Reigns doesn't like CM Punk, just basically because CM Punk realizes what the one weakness is for Roman Reigns, and that is his wise man. Without the wise man, Roman Reigns is just a chief without a tribe, so to speak. So, as far as who needs it more, I honestly don't have an opinion. I could tell you who I believe is going to win, and that's going to be Seth Rollins. And at the end of the match, it'll be Seth Rollins walking out with the wise man.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. David, the same question kind of goes over to you, man. As far as this triple threat, who do you think needs this matchup more, and any predictions of this match? But who do you think needs this matchup more to win this match, and why?
I would have said CM Punk, just because of the fact that CM Punk has been on this tirade of, trying to feud with Seth Rollins, and obviously you involve Roman Reigns into a situation, and it all ties into Paul Heyman, of course, especially when the favorite comes into play. But now that Scotty and Lightskin mentioned Seth Rollins walking in and out with Heyman, that is something I did not see, and that might be something that, if you talk about grabbing people's attention, that they can listen. It's a rumor, so of course people are going to be looking for it, but it could be something to where they actually pull it off and be like, "Yo, they might do something with Seth here." That could be the 180 that you don't even have to involve Lesnar in it. That right there can steal your show. Now, of course, I'm not a fan of that match being a main event, because it doesn't need to be a main event. I think that's what people have to understand. They're three top guys that don't need to main event that, and they can still steal the show. Like, that's what I don't understand. I've never understood that. Again, It takes away from the factor of taking a guy like Jey Uso out of his main event that he's earned. But in terms of you want to end the night on something, that's Seth and him going over and walking out with Heyman where nobody sees it, nobody saw that coming. That could be something, man.
Yeah.
That's
And to kind of piggyback off of what you said, Top, and that's kind of why I was very vocal about Jey Uso winning the Rumble, because the fact that you have this triple threat match kind of proves my point of why WWE put this in the main event, because because of how you went about things with Jey Uso, and the fact that also what Lightskin said, the fact that they've already have had multiple matchups in the past. One of them was for the IC championship, and then you just did the world championship match at that Saturday night's main event a week before the freaking event, and now you want to do the same matchup. So Triple H is like, fuck, well, this can't be the main event matchup because I got all this backlash that's just been thrown at me. Let me throw my three top stars, Punk, Rollins, and Roman, and throw them in the main event. I mean, and the fact that they're all and this is why I say it's rushed, because like Brian just said, and we've said it for multiple weeks, to where I get it. There's history with everybody. I completely get it. But like I say to that, and I'm like, what the fuck does that really mean? Everybody has history with everybody. We've been just doing history with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the last 7 fucking years. Like, it's like, what do you mean by like history? Like, if it's 2025, everybody has history with freaking everybody. Like, you could have been doing all of this to where, again, it's good. It's good, but they're all separate feuds. And when you're meshing that with all of them at once, it just comes across really messy. And that's why I'm also just not with this being the main event at all, because it's not needed, but it's also pretty much an audible being called because WWE knows that they've botched this since Jey Uso won the Rumble and when he lost at the Saturday night's main event show against Gunther. So, but we'll soon find out of who Paul Heyman is going to be associating his services to. I guess we'll find out. And I guess if a Brock Lesnar, a beast incarnate, does show up, who the hell knows? Time alone.
I was just throwing that out there for shits and like, I hope, because like I said, I think he probably, I'm not going to get into it, but
I've
he
seen
doesn't
crazier
need to be
shit,
back,
honestly.
but yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
Who knows, man? All right, now for the grand finale, fellas. It is time for the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. This is John Cena, the Invincible Man himself, versus your champion, Cody Rhodes. And let's start this off with probably the biggest John Cena fan in here, which is my man David, Top Bunk Sports. So, David, I'm going to send this question off to you, my man. And this kind of just goes off of the heel turn from John Cena, right? And this, honestly, outside of this heel turn, there hasn't been really much to grasp within this entire WrestleMania season. So as far as the heel turn, David, as I know we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about it at all, but where would you put this heel turn among all the heel turns in WWE history? Or yours, man?
Probably when Austin turned on The Rock and joined McMahon. I know there's probably been a couple that have probably been up there, but I think WWE did exactly what they needed to do with Cena's run as a heel so far. The complete opposite of what people expected. People expected him to come out with a new theme. They said, no, keep it. They expected him to come out with a new attire. No, keep it. You know, everything was, again, they expected him to go off script and just violate. No, you know, he said his piece, but he said it in a more, hey, I'm in a more PG way where nobody expected. They thought he was gonna rip the Band-Aid off and just completely go off because it's you know, he's finally a heel and whatever. I think, again, a lot of people may not agree because I've seen, you know, some content creators, they believe that John Cena should not go over. However, and I'm not saying this as a fan, I do personally, if this is Cena's last run, you just, you know, give him one last title run. I think he'll pull it off, because everybody's kind of buying into his heel persona and he's actually getting the reaction that, you know, any major heel would get. But I do believe that if you do go with Cody, I don't see where this leads Cody. I don't. I think people are kind of one, like, already saying, like, listen, you already gave Cody his year with the title. What else? What else is there to do? Give Cena that momentum. Cena doesn't even have to hold it for a year. Just have him hold it till SummerSlam. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what makes
if
everything.
Cena, if sorry to cut you off, but if Cena's going to win, The Rock needs to be involved. The
I
Rock needs to
absolutely
be
agree.
involved in this matchup because Cody Rhodes is going to have to stay face some way, somehow. And
Mhm.
to kind of piggyback off what you said, David, because like it's funny, right? Because I mean, John Cena is going to break this. He's going to win this championship one way or the other. It could be at WrestleMania. It could be whenever in his farewell tour. But I always found it weird. It's just like when you think of Cena winning this type of accolade, right? You would think you would want that for somebody as a face, right? Because who the heck is going to boo John Cena when he wins this massive accomplishment, winning a 17th World Championship at a grand stage like WrestleMania, right? So I'm kind of like mixed about it to where like, is he really going to win this accolade, this 17th world title as a heel? But at the other end, to where like you can also do a lot more with The Rock and the fact that, you know, maybe adding another person into this whole charade. Maybe, I don't know, just throwing his name out there because I've been dying to see him back into a heel run, a Randy Orton, right? Or a Stone. You know, what'd be even more fun, right? And I get it. Like the dude is like freaking what? He's almost 60 some odd years old. Stone Cold, right? If you're gonna have like somebody like a Stone Cold make an appearance to where like, oh, like what is he gonna do? He's just gonna show up and he's gonna freaking stunner somebody and everybody's gonna have like a WrestleMania type moment like he's done within the, you know, he stunnered, what was it, Austin Theory not too long ago and many others, right? Or why don't you do something cool if Stone Cold is going to be a part of it? You create this, I guess you could say, like this faction of all of these guys like freaking Stone Cold, The Rock, and Cena. And I get it. They're freaking, they're 40, 50 plus years old, man. But you have a group to where everything in regards to professional wrestling as a whole, as far as accolades and everything, and it makes your top talents, people like a Roman and a Cody, if you want to put Braun Breaker in there as inserting him as a face to go up against these guys, I think that inserting in regards to somebody like a Stone Cold or a Randy Orton, if you want to put a Randy Orton in there alongside freaking Cena, whatever it is you got to do. But going back to Cena winning this title, if Cena is going to win this title, you have to insert The Rock and something else big has to happen. Like it can't just be Cena winning this championship and maybe there's confetti and pyro and we just go off the air. Like it has to be The Rock being inserted to where Cody stays face if he's going to lose this title. But
I think again, Triple H, you want to do something spectacular, end the night with a heel, going over, new champion. Do it in a big way with The Rock involved because the way they turned Cena heel was spectacular. I gotta give him that, especially the detail and camera angle and everything. But you know, it's I think at this time they did what they needed to do with Cody. Cody's gonna be the top guy without the title. Let Cena give that one more run, even if it's for a couple months, and then he drops it because they'll still have to do with Cena after he's done with that title. So there's a lot of ways they could go with it where Cena can break that record. I don't give a F what Ric Flair has to say, brother. Your time is done. Your time is done. You knew it was done from the moment they decided to go with it with John Cena, you knew you were done. So he, unless it's part of a script, Ric Flair really has nothing to say. You went from you be proud that Cena breaks the record to not, and it's just like, listen, if anybody has to break it, it's him. And at this moment, because you finally got him to go over as a heel after being a babyface for so long, why not? Why not?
Yeah. And the reason why I bring up Stone Cold, by the way, is that I heard a rumor that he could be a part of WrestleMania. He may not. But so then the reason why I bring up Stone Cold, like, would it be so cool to make, again, Cody Rhodes look like a bigger baby face along with all of your other full-time talent for you to go up against this trio of The Rock, Stone Cold, and Cena, to where, yes, granted, again, they're all part-timers. All of them are pretty much retired. But again, WrestleMania is also all about moments too, fellas. And if you are going to insert Stone Cold in WrestleMania some way, somehow, I hope that they just don't go the lazy route to, let's have him show up for, like I guess in a comedic joking way to where he stuns somebody and then he drinks some beers and then he walks off and we call it a day, right? Instead, why don't you really make a moment? And to where maybe you can still insert, Stone Cold in this certain scenario to where he does join the Rock or Cena again. Or if it's not Stone Cold, you can put Randy Orton in there. You can put whatever. So that's the only reason why I bring it up to where, or you can have Stone Cold be the guy to go up against the Rock and Cena to where the Rock, something like that in regards to that. So, again, that's just something that I heard from a rumor that could potentially happen. Not saying it's going to, but we'll soon find out. But Lightskin, I'm going to move this over to you, man. Speaking of The Rock, that's going to be my question to you. Do you think that The Rock will be involved? And do you think that in regards to, I guess, The Rock and, Cena selling his soul, do you think there's going to be another soul that The Rock is going to bring along with this entire spiel going on? Like, what do you think, man? How do you think that it plays out?
The Rock has to be involved in this in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Absolutely.
This whole thing basically got started. Cena's heel turn, basically got started because of The Rock.
Right.
He was the one who gave the awkward looking throat slash that signaled for Cena to do his heel turn. And I may be in the minority. I don't think it's one of the greatest of all time because it was one that we expected. I'm sorry, but Terry Bollea's heel turn, and I'm sorry, I refuse to call him Hulk Hogan just based upon some of the things about his character. But
Sure.
Terry Bollea's heel turn from when he went from the red and yellow to the black and white and joined the New World Order, that to me was more unpredictable. Now, yes, it came in different eras where we didn't have social media and all that, but to me it was just done better. We expected the Cena heel turn to happen. So as far as I'm concerned, Rocket better have something to do with this because otherwise, if he's not there at Mania, it'll be all for nothing.
Yeah. No, I hear you, bro. Absolutely. I mean, you would think, right? Because lately it's just been, Cena and, reasons of why he turned his back on the fans, right? And he's been going after the fans. Then he went after Cody and why he turned after Cody. So you would think that the next, I guess, chapter, if you want to call it, is now getting into more of, well, why he joined The Rock, why that he, sold his soul to The Rock and no better. Because, I mean, The Rock's not showing up until WrestleMania, right? I mean, we can hold out hope that he could show up at SmackDown before Mania, but it's most likely going to be Mania that you'll see The Rock again. So, but we'll see in regards to it. So, Scotty, I'm going to ask you a question in regards to Cody Rhodes, right? I mean, Cody Rhodes, we've said it, there's been many criticisms about his title reign, and some of it justifiably so. But in a scale from 1 to 10, where would you rank Cody Rhodes' title reign so far since he's won the title?
I'd give it a 6, and I'd say 6 instead of something lower, just because he still has momentum with the crowd. He's still fan favorite.
Yeah.
As far as like his infrequency of defending the title, that's more booking. Can't blame him for that. And you should know by now. Personally, I am still a Cody crybaby. I love that man. Can't make me say nothing bad about him. I'm one of the few people who is not a John Cena fan. Like, yeah, I like him. I don't want to see him win another world title. That's just me. I was like, I had to go through a whole phase where I relearned how I looked at Cena, because for the longest time I'm like, yo, he's a culture vulture, like thugging out. And so I'm like, yo, like what are we doing here? But
Oh,
then
thank you.
nah, like I not for real. Like it was hate for a while, but then
Yes.
I actually learned about what he did behind the scenes. Things for like the black community, and like actually incorporating, like I think he had like a church choir, appear with him at one joint and for a
Yeah.
fundraiser. I'm like, okay, that's actually kind of stand up. All of that aside, I still don't want to see him win another world title. For me, the person, if anyone's ever going to break Ric Flair's quote unquote WWE world title record, I felt it should have been Randy Orton, but that ain't happening. Like, he's been nowhere near the world title picture. So, okay. If they go with Cena, it is what it is. If Cody retains, I'm happy. In the
Hear you,
back of my
man.
mind, I'm still hoping that Cody Lander appears within the next year or so. I don't know how that's going to happen, though.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's funny you brought that up, Scotty and Brian. I'll send this off to you soon, and we'll wrap things up here. But the thing is with Cody Rhodes as a heel, right? Because that's now the main thing that people want Cody Rhodes to do, is to turn heel. But my question is like why? Like why would you need to do that? Like and the reason why I say why is like, granted, I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool to do, right? I'm sure Cody Rhodes would pull it off, but why would you turn your top baby face heel? Like the thing is with heel turn, like, and you're seeing it in this company, like, oh, if somebody is like getting somewhat of cheers, you turn them, right? You did it with Braun Breaker and a few others. Oh, if we can't book this person properly, turn them. Like the answer, guys, like it can't always just be if something's not working. Like I just don't understand. Like why does the answer always have to be, oh, well, just turn them heel? Like okay, like that. So why don't you just get creative and just book them properly as a face, right? Because let's face it, Cody Rhodes is still a top merchandise seller. Like you just said earlier, he still gets tremendous reactions when he comes out. He gets, the crowd sings along to his song. He does all these meet and greets with all these kids and everything. Like he's your guy right now. And the main thing, like if people are not fond to it, if there's a certain audience that is not fond to it, well, you got to get more creative. And your answer just can't be turn him heel, because that just comes across as lazy. And I get it. It can be cool, but I mean, it's just, the answer just can't always be turn him, especially for Cody, who has so much to offer. I don't know. It just comes across just lazy to me. But I mean, you might see that in the future. Who freaking knows? Especially, I know he says he's going to be, I guess, retiring by the age of 45. At least that's what he said. By the time when he's done with wrestling, by the age of 45, he's going to be done. So you still could see that. But right now, man, he's your top. He's outside of Roman. He's your top baby face right now. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But really good take, though, by the way, Scotty. Very, very nice. And Brian, man, I'll send this off to you. You're going to close this out, man. Kind of going back to The Rock, kind of the same question I just gave Lightskin. Do you feel like that The Rock is going to be inserted into this match some way, somehow? And if so, how do you think it goes about?
For sure, no doubt. It's WrestleMania. You know, Cena is sort of under Rock's thumb, I guess, or at least in partnership, and we haven't seen The Rock. It's the biggest show of the year. He's definitely there. Yeah, and how I see it going, I mean, he's going to, and I think he should interfere in the match. I don't think Cody should, just take a clean L. It builds again. It builds builds Cody, and it builds Cena as the heel. Not going over cleanly.
Yeah.
And yeah, for Cena, and I'll send this out to Bug, man, but I have been the biggest hater of Cena his entire career, man. I've never liked anything he's done, but this man, god damn it, I am on board. Like, and the only way, like, the payoff for me is, and I mentioned this in our podcast, is like we've never had a superstar of his caliber, right? For 25 years, a face, the good guy, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, hustle, loyalty, respect, never wavers, never turns. He's got to go over at Mania. He gets that record and he holds on to that belt until Survivor Series. And that's where he loses it. He goes out a heel, never turns back face. That's never been done. Never been done. he's got to be that is what is going to make him, arguably, I wouldn't say he's my favorite or best ever, but now he's done something in the wrestling industry, not only the 17-time champion, great matches, 25-year career. He's done something in a way nobody's ever done it before. And that's freaking awesome. I am on board with this Cena heel run, and he's got to ride this till the wheel falls off, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think about The Rock, man? Anything about The Rock at all? Involvement?
I mean, I just see, that's how that's how Cena will win the match. I mean, he, thanks to The Rock, I don't, low blow, just beat down, DQ, or not a DQ, I guess, but,
can you
and then
imagine
going from there, I mean, Cena and Rock are going to run that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, can you imagine a DQ finish in the main event of your WrestleMania?
Yeah, I didn't mean DQ. Yeah.
No, I know you didn't mean that. I'm just thinking of that now. Like,
no, that would be bullshit.
I could hear the IWC right now in regards to that type of finish. Oh my goodness gracious, man!
But yeah, Cena's got to go over there.
You would have to go to a different level of stupid to do that type of shit. Seriously. But man, oh my goodness, man. But guys, fellas, this was tremendous. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us on this roundtable. Freaking almost 2.5 hours in. You can thank Endeavor and TKO for making 2 nights of WrestleMania. So we got over 2 nights of freaking WrestleMania to talk about it. It almost takes us an entire night to talk about. But hey, we wouldn't have it any other way. But once again, thank you guys for joining us. And thank all of you guys that were watching the show. We appreciate all of you guys. You see the banner down below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, as well as check us out on social media. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That is Ruthless_Talk. And make sure you guys check out all of these guys, these lovely individuals that have joined us on our roundtable. I will put all of their social medias, all of their content in the description box down below for you guys to follow and also check out their stuff. And make sure you guys do. Not only are they great content creators, but they're also tremendous people. So definitely give them a looks on their platforms. Again, all of it is in the description box down below. And of course, like I said, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as on YouTube. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, if you are one of those people that just watches us on YouTube and doesn't hit that subscribe button, you're fucking weird, man. Don't be fucking weird. Hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure you're notified and make sure you stay tuned for more content to come. Make sure you stay tuned for our WrestleMania review for both nights 1 and 2. We got WWE Backlash. We got AEW Double or Nothing to talk about, and so much more stuff to come moving into the summer and moving into 2025. So that is going to do it for today's episode, everybody. My name is James Porcelli, and along with David, Scotty, and my man Light Skin Gaijin, we are signing off, saying salute, peace out, and take care, everybody. Top guys, we are out. Peace.